page on YouTube, and I'll throw you the link there.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I'm on your page.
All right, and there's a link. You see the link?
In the comment section or where?
Yeah, comment section. You should definitely see it.
I just saw one a word. You say you.
Yeah, and then after that.
After that, the second comment didn't appear yet.
It hasn't appeared yet. All right, one moment. Let me do this way. How about now?
Okay, now I see it.
All right. There you go. There's the link. Do it through Facebook, and we're good to go.
So I shared it to the feed. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share the link here on my Facebook page, so you will see it. So I have to drop this Facebook Live so that you can see it. Or maybe let me see. Yeah. Yeah.
Peace to my people watching. We're about to have a conversation about Sajda, as the title says. Please bear with us. The conversation shall soon commence.
Yeah, let me share the link to myself here. But it seems okay. Let me try it connecting inside. I have the link here, but it seems when I share that link, that is the one people can rather join in the stream.
Yeah. Or do you want the YouTube link? I'll send you the YouTube link on your WhatsApp now. Check your WhatsApp.
Okay.
There, that's the YouTube link.
You got the link you pasted in the comment section. That's the link I have to join you.
That's correct. And the YouTube link I've just WhatsApped to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Lemming, brother, this is not one of those joining ones tonight. I'm gonna have a conversation with a brother called Shuaib. So I need you guys to just keep an eye on the conversation.
Okay, copy this and I send them on my page the YouTube link. Yes. Copy this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting the link on this Facebook before I end it, and I put it on my wall, so you can join on YouTube stream and watch live.
Bear with us, people. The conversation will begin soon. Yeah.
I end it here. And I put it on my page. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm joining you over there. I've just pasted it on my link, so I'm joining you on YouTube. As soon as I join you on there, I'll drop the Facebook conversation with you. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, bear with us, bear with us. God willing, it will be fruitful and peaceful, definitely.
Yes, I'm entering the studio.
You are indeed. Peace.
Peace. Peace, 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 peace.
What am I doing? All right. Peace, peace.
Peace, bro.
How you doing, bro?
Alhamdulillah. Thanks to God. It's quite unfortunate.
Thanks for bearing with us. We are now here. Our brother Shuaib Abdullahi, inshallah, today about Sajda. Brother Shuaib, as well as many, most of us watching this program today, follow the Quran alone. So the conversation we are going to have today is simply going to be about the word Sajda according to the Quran. So with that said, I would like to just welcome my brother Shuaib here. Shuaib, I think there's like I'm hearing myself in the background, so I think you need to
Is it echo cancellation?
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay. How about now?
I can't. Yeah, much better. Hold on.
Is it good now or is it still echo?
It's echoed down on my side for some reason.
Go to this the mic and cam side and put echo cancellation.
Yeah, the echo cancellation is on.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Let me put my speaker out. How about now?
Yours is good. Yeah, there's no echo now. Perfect. Can you hear me? Yeah, there's no echo now. Perfect. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, but wait. Did you put something on?
On the other this thing, if I connect you on my other mic, let me see. Wait.
Yeah.
How was it previously when you just heard me? How was this thing?
Wait, let me hear myself. Mic check. Nah, there's still an echo. Oh, have you got something else playing? You need to turn that off.
The only thing, it depends. If you have a speaker there, because I don't hear echo from my side at all.
I've got nothing going on here.
Yeah, so when there is echo, whoever is hearing echo from his side has to just maybe the speaker, your speaker or something. You have to find a way
Let me check.
of making it.
No, I can still hear myself. Nah, someone's got YouTube on. I'm telling you. Have you got YouTube or something playing?
It's on, but muted.
Muted.
Yeah. So, mic again. Here says, let me see.
Hold on, let's do this. When I'm talking, mute yourself. How about that? Mute yourself for a second.
Wait, I'm taking my speaker here out, the one we are doing.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm taking my speaker here out, the one we are doing. Now this is the one playing now.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm taking my speaker here out, the one we are doing. Now this is the one playing now. Yeah. So you see.
Okay, just 1 second. Mute yourself. 1 second. Just mute yourself. Oh, you're muted, yeah? Okay. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2. See? No echo. Wait. Let me see if the audience can hear me. The audience, can you guys hear me? Mic check. 1, 2. Can you not hear me? If the audience can hear me and there's no echo when you're muted, then it has to be your side. All right. The audience can hear me and there's no echo, right? Is there any echo? No echo. Shoaib, definitely your side, bro. Go on, you can unmute yourself. Definitely your side.
Let me put the sound down. Yeah. Okay, how about now?
All right, let me check. Mic check 1, 2. Nope, no echo. See? It's good now. Is it good? People? Hurry up with the comments. Shoaib, you turned it down. I can still hear something in the background, Shoaib.
Yeah, I turned it down just to check.
See, but I told you that's the problem then. The problem is that wherever you've got turned down.
Wait a second. Okay, let me try my cam once again on my laptop and see if it connects. This is hectic. Let me see. Okay.
This is a long-awaited conversation, my friend. You're keeping the people wondering.
Okay. How about now? Any echo still?
Go on, talk again.
Any echo?
I hear myself. I'll tell you what we do, Shay. How about when I'm talking, you mute yourself, and when you're talking, I mute myself. Simple.
Yeah. Rush. Oh, salam. Now, yes, now I come email
muting thing now.
Okay. No, yeah. Oh, yes, let me connect on my laptop here, the link, and let's see what happens. Facebook. Mitä sä haluan tehdä? Varovasti. Yeah, because I connected a different speaker with this here, so I think that's why the problem is happening that way.
Mic check. To hear myself, Shrek.
Yeah. I figured it out. It should be on this side. So let me try to open it on my laptop. If it connects that way, then it will be the best option. Adira, mene, varovasti. Mene. Yeah. Okay, this one here, StreamYard. Yeah, I'll just kick myself out from this side and I connect on my laptop and see what happens.
No problem. We were meant to start 4 o'clock. This is some African time, my friend.
Yeah. Never swipe. Yes. Okay. So I drop out from here. Hey, yo.
Wait, let me check. Mic check.
Wait, let me check. Mic check.
Shoaib, stop playing games, Shoaib.
What is happening?
All right, let me
Still?
try again. Let me try again. Mic check, mic check. Any echo? All right, well, let me check if the audience can hear me nicely. Audience, can you not hear me? Any echo, any problems? Ah, Shoaib. What is that thing you got on, man?
What did the audience say?
You know what? Go ahead. Let's go ahead with it. Just turn it down. Just make sure the volume's turned down. Go ahead. Let's go with it.
Okay, let me put the volume down. If I put it down, hey,
as long as the echo is minimal, we can go ahead with it.
Is the echo minimum?
So far, so good. So far, so good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's go.
Yes, so I guess we can cope like this. At least people can manage because time is ticking.
So I've introduced you to my audience. Please introduce yourself now. Yeah. And you might want to introduce me to your audience.
Yeah, peace, guys. As you all know, my name is Shoaib Abdullahi. Life lectures based on Islam and the Quran alone. And we seem to differ in one or two things, even though we all have the same concept of following the Quran alone. But of course, we might differ in one or two things. So one of the main themes of our disagreement is the word Sajda, whereby Brother Ahmed is saying it can only mean submission, which I disagree. According to the Quran, he said in the Quran, it can only mean submission and nothing else. So then I was like, okay, how about we should just take up a topic and then have a discussion on this and settle it for the audience once and for all. They can understand what this is about. Boys. Yeah. So this is our reason of discussion today. Now, please give me a minute. Let my daughter just bounce off.
No worries.
Okay, Hepa. Yeah. So yes. Anyways, I don't know about because I think my daughter is using my network at the same time. So if there's any freezing, and I don't know if people can find my network, like my video freezing.
You seem all right on my
Ahmed,
side.
is my video okay? Like, is it moving okay?
To be honest, the audience, I mean, the audio is perfect, so I'm not really too concerned with the video. I mean, the main
Okay,
thing is
that's
as
good.
long as people can hear you, if they have a picture of who's speaking, that'll do.
Okay. Some people say there is a delay on Shoaib's side. The video is okay. Some people said, okay, we can go with it. We can go with the flow.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, the main issue was Brother Ahmed made a video whereby I pinpointed one issue of him using the word. He says Sajda in the Quran can only mean submission and nothing else. He used the word only. So that was my main concern. And as a student and a learned person of the Quran for so many years, which I've done diverse lectures, I was like, no, brother, no way. On this part, I cannot agree on this instance. So I preferred we had a discussion. So then people can understand better, because knowledge is diverse. Knowledge is not stick to one point. Knowledge is about how diversified you can have, you know, the zones you can have knowledge in. So then I decided, okay, let's discuss this. And then people will get to understand more. So my issue now is, why did Brother Ahmed choose to say sajda can only mean submission in the Quran? You understand? So this is the matter of discussion here. And we are going to delve into the Quran. He will make his point and I'll make my point. And then at the end of the day, inshallah, we come to a fruitful conclusion. So here we go. So, brother, we start the issue. Now, what made you actually say that the word sajda in the Quran can only mean submission and can never mean anything else?
That's a good question. And well, to put it very simple for you, the word prostration can mean one of three things. It can either mean a physical exhaustion to the point of collapse, which would mean physical prostration. Or it could mean prostration in terms of subservience or submission. The third thing it could mean is both, meaning it is subservience and submission symbolized by the collapse, by the physical collapse. So the physical collapse symbolizes subservience or submission. So the word can only mean one of those three things. So in summary, again, physical collapse, subservience slash submission, or a symbol of submission in the form of a physical collapse. Those three things. So with that said, which of the three it is can only be identified by the context, irregardless of the language in question. So irregardless of the language in question, which of the three it is can only be identified by the context. So considering the theme of the Quran and considering every single context of this particular word, there is no occurrence where I could say that this particular word refers to a physical collapse, because there is no context that speaks about the necessity of a physical collapse of any kind, nor is there any context where there is a particular object that one is commanded to symbolize subservience slash submission in the form of a physical collapse. Now, the thing is, when you discuss the idea of submission in the form of a symbol, and that symbol being a physical collapse, you need to have an object which you quote unquote prostrate before. So not only is there no context where such a thing is found, even linguistically, when you say that someone prostrates before something, when you identify that the prostration in question is physical, at minimum you need to say so and so prostrated before. That is what identifies A, physicality, and B, object. So there is no, so to cut the whole story short for you, there is no theme that basically allows the necessity for a physical symbol, nor is there a context that allows the necessity for a physical symbol, nor is there even a sentence, the structural sentence that would suggest that this is referring to a physical prostration. So I've found no cause for it. Over to you.
Good. Okay, you made a point by giving three meanings up front concerning the word sajda. Now, what we need to understand is when we are dealing with a language, that is linguistics. If you're dealing with your language, the moment you have to deal with context, you need to know the root of the language first. You have to know the rules and the language, the linguistic aspect of it. Now, there is no way you can just bring a word up front and make up meanings for it. You understand? Whenever there's a language and there's a word, it has meanings. Now, the sole purpose of what I wanted Brother Ahmed to understand is when I saw him making that assertion out there, I was like, okay, on which basis was he standing for him to draw the conclusion that this means that or that can only mean this, which means he has a meaning in the head, he put in his head to actually pinpoint. Even though when I had a conversation with him, he said he doesn't want to put meanings to words, but it's impossible to use context without understanding the meanings of words because they have what they represent in the first place. Now, when you take the word like sajada, it has been used in different forms in the Quran. There is sajidin, there is sujud, there is sujadan, there is sajda, there is sajada. It has been used in multiple forms. Now, a word, before it is decided into a context, it must have a subject first of discussion. If there is no subject of discussion, a sentence can never have a context without the subject. You understand? So when you came about that argument, which I told you, I give you thumbs up by that, but using judgment like conclusions to draw judgment of a language whereby linguistically you need to know the rules of the language and what meanings the word has in the first place before you draw conclusions in a context. Without knowing what the words represent in the first place in that said language, and then you want to put something into context, it will be a contradiction because the context will be twisted. So when I came about, you told me, okay, you give people the alternatives so that they can now choose which one they want. I don't think the Prophet, peace be upon him, decided to do that to the people or to put down the truth and then give alternatives and say, okay, you can either choose this or choose that. You understand? It will be a bit of a chaos for believers to handle. So my stance here is I have no problem if you say sajda can mean submission. I'm okay with that because, of course, if I prostrate, it's to show submission. Still, it's a symbol. But if you say it can only mean submission and nothing else, this is where I differ. And by what you just started saying, you gave three meanings. And if I ask you the source of the meanings you got, you say it's a sign of what? Collapse, and then a sign of submission. And then if I ask you what is the source of the meanings you just gave us, can you present to us the source of the meaning, the word meaning you got?
Shall I? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. first and foremost, to address this notion of language. You see, language is a tool. What language does is it basically describes into a particular word or particular words a phenomena that we can all observe. That's all language does. It describes or puts into words a phenomena which we can all observe. So with that said, there is no particular language that is somewhat special, because this is simply a tool that that basically puts into words whatever phenomena that we observe. So now, whether you say sajda or whether you say prostration in English, they both describe a phenomena. That's simply what they do. This particular phenomena has been put into an English word, and this particular phenomena has been put into an Arabic word. So as long as the phenomena is understood, there is no reason to be hung up on a particular language.
Good. I get your point. Yeah.
So that okay. So that's as far as language. So that's as far as language goes.
Good.
Secondly,
so now, okay, make it.
Yeah. Wait. Secondly, the other hang up on words. Again, what people need to understand is that words are always dictated to by the context. Always. Even if a word has a meaning, even if you insist that a word has a meaning, I can have that word mean whatever I want, depending on the context that I put it in. Context is always king, always, irregardless of the language. And this is precisely why I don't engage in arguments about particular words, because they become endless arguments. Everybody claims authority of the particular definition of the word. So to avoid those kind of arguments and to basically stress on that which is basically inarguable, what I do is I simply focus on the context. Now, what the context does, again, is it removes this idea of authority of a particular word and authority of a particular language. Because irregardless of the language, irregardless of what you claim a word means, it has to fit the context. If it does not fit the context, you can scream however much you want about what the word means, it just cannot mean so in that context. Context is always king. That's just a fact. So this is why I focus on context, and this is why earlier on I said to you that I conclude that the word sajda can only mean submission based on the theme of the Quran and the context that the word is found in. So it is not me claiming authority of what the word means. It is me saying that what the word means is dictated to by the Quran itself. And sorry, just to finish up with so yeah, the Quran is what dictates that the word means submission. Over to you.
Good. Now, I know you know that you and I both stand on context being one of the key elements of a sentence or of an issue. Now, there is something we call the predicate. Now, for instance, food. The keen element when cooking of food, or I would say what gives it the top seal after cooking is salt, to add salt, right? but that doesn't necessarily mean the salt is like makes the food like without salt food cannot be eaten or anything. Now, when you mentioned the word about context, I told you I agree with you, context, but context is not always everything without knowing the subject. And then we stick to talking about subject, saying, oh, they are same, similar. And I say they can be similar, but they are not the same thing. Now, to get to this point, let me give you some example here. You know, a gun needs a bullet to function because the purpose of a gun is for shooting. It needs a bullet. So without a bullet, the gun becomes useless. Without the bullet, the gun is useless. So because if you cannot use the gun to shoot, then the gun is worthless. Now, if I give you an example, for instance, if I said, he said left. He said left. That's right. He said left, comma, that's right. Now, first of all, before we even put these things into context, we have to check the meaning of the words. There is no way, even if we put it in the context, we can get it wrong because we don't know the subject. You get my point? Even if we should put the sentence I just said, he said left, comma, but that's right. If you get what I'm trying to say, I'm just giving an example. He said left, and that's right. Or like I say, but that's right. Now this sentence, if I take this sentence alone, without a subject, no matter how I put it in the context, I cannot never get it 100% accurate.
That's not a context, though.
What?
That's not a context.
I didn't say that's a context. I said, if I give you this sentence, I said it's a sentence. If I give you a sentence like this,
you couldn't even say it's a sentence. You couldn't even say it's a sentence because it's broken up.
Like I started a sentence and I said, he said it is left. And that's right.
Yeah, but he said it is left, and that's right.
Yes, I started with a pronoun. I started with a pronoun, and I said he said it is left. He said it is left.
Okay, he said it is left. All right, fine, cool. You can say that he said it is left. You could say that.
Yes,
and then
yes, let me finish the statement, and then the statement ends by saying, and that's right. Now, if we leave the sentence as it is now, and I tell you, put it into context, how can you put it in the context without knowing the subject, first of all? Did you get my point?
Well, I think I understand what you're trying to say, but I don't think it.
But it's an example, though. I'm just giving an example, but I'm just saying, trying to let you reason with me.
With that example.
Yes.
Let me quickly tell you what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the word subject and the word context are synonymous, but they're used for different. They're used for different contexts, basically. They're used for different matters. However, when you're talking about reading, you're talking about reading a book, for instance. When you're talking about reading a book, the word subject and the word context become interchangeable. They mean the same thing. They're not two different things. Like, for instance, if you don't like the word context, we can simply say subject in using this very same discussion. Using this very same discussion that we are having, I can simply use the word subject and still it means the same thing. It doesn't change anything. They're not two different things in this discussion.
No, this is where I don't agree with you. If you say it's the same thing, I will not agree with you on that.
Discussion.
Yes, I will not agree with you. If you say similar, I'll agree. Similar is not, the word similar is not same as the word same.
Can I prove it to you?
Yeah.
I can prove it to you in very simple terms. Give me
Good.
one subject in the Quran without giving me a context.
If I say as-salat, if I mention the word as-salat, it's a subject. Because it's a topic of discussion.
No, but wait, are we calling words a subject? That's just the word.
I didn't call, I mentioned there's a definite article in front of it.
Okay, so any words that you add a definite becomes a subject now.
Of course, it's a subject of discussion, because if I say the boy, which boy am I talking about? If I use the word the boy.
But how do we know it's a subject until you start to discuss what it is?
So that's what I just said. You say, how do we know it's a subject? So far as it says the word definite article makes it a subject of discussion.
Yes, but it's not a discussion until you actually have the discussion. You've just given
so
a word.
It is when we go into the discussion, then we can deal with the context.
No, but here it is. The moment you go into the discussion, you've gone into the subject, and therefore you've gone into the context. It's the same thing. The moment you go into the subject, you go into the context.
Okay, you want to take it that way. Like I said, we agree to disagree, of course.
No.
The point
is not a matter of agreeing to disagreeing, because these are objective terms.
Okay, give me one popular dictionary in this world which gives you the same, which tells you the word subject is the same as context. Just give me one example.
Depending on the discussion. Hear me out. I'm giving you an even better, a demonstrable evidence that you can literally check for yourself, which is, you're right. If you have a definite article before something, it becomes a subject. Cool. However, but we don't know what a subject is until you actually have the discussion. And what I'm saying to you is, the moment you have the discussion, you have the context. So they're not separate in when we are discussing the Quran. Because when we're discussing the Quran, we're not discussing particular definite articles. We're discussing actual discussions. So all of these discussions in the Quran, they are both subjects and they are also contexts. Like you literally cannot have one without the other. Like I don't even need to use the word context. That's how bad it is. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I agree with you. Now you fell into my lane. My lane is you don't leave the one without the other. You understand? Me, in my rules, from my over 11 years of studying the Quran by myself, I tell you what, I deal with three things when I'm dealing with the Quran. I don't only deal with context. Context is one of the key elements, but I don't use only context. I deal with subjects, and I deal with the context, and I deal with the content itself. Three things. I don't deal with one thing.
The same thing.
It is not. They are not the same thing. It's just like me telling you. I give an example. No, I give an example. It's just like saying twins are the same thing. Twins are never the same. They are just similar.
The analogy is wrong.
Can you say the twins are the same?
No, but that analogy.
No, but can you say twins are the same?
No, I can't. But
how is it wrong? Tell me. How is it wrong? No, tell me.
Okay.
How?
I'll tell you how. Because you cannot have subject without context, and you cannot have context without content. So you're literally going around saying the same thing.
No. I can have a subject. No, I can have a subject only. Right? Listen, I can have a subject only without delving into the discussion itself.
Then it's nothing.
It is something. Because wait. The word the word the is a definite article, right?
Okay.
That word the qualifies the subject already.
Okay, guess what though? Even when you say the definite article qualifies the subject, You only know what the subject is because you know what it means. So therefore, you know the content that makes up the said word. So you're going round and round saying the same thing.
So good. So which means the subject is important before you can know the context of the discussion. Get where I'm heading to.
Not at all.
Let me give an example.
Because the
let me give you an
subject
example.
changes depending on context.
Let me give you an example. I just made a phrase. I use some phrases right now. And I said, he said it is left and it is right. And I said, let's deal with this sentence. Put it into context for me. Without a subject, just put it in the context for me. I just give you a sentence. He said it is left and it is right. So this sentence, put it into context for me.
It's not for me to do that. It's for you to do that.
Yes, because I know the subjects. You don't know the subject. So how can you put this sentence into context? I
can't. It's for you to do that.
So brother, it's just an example I'm giving you.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a heads up. Meaning, it's not everybody who can just take the Quran without knowing the subject of discussion and just put in words and start giving it meaning.
But again, when you say the subject of discussion, what I'm trying to say to you is there is no subject. There is no subject in the Quran that's not clarified by the Quran. What subject in the Quran? I'm saying there is not a single subject. Furthermore, there is not a single subject or even a word that is not clarified by the Quran. And it is clarified by the theme of the Quran and the context that the word is found in. Every single word.
Okay. You know about the word menstruation in the Quran?
Mm-hmm.
Before we go into the Quran, I'll give you the verse. But can you explain what menstruation is to me?
You want me to explain the word?
Yeah. If you are familiar with menstruation, explain what it is to me. For the audience, actually. Then I show you a verse. Then you tell me, how did the Quran clarify menstruation?
Well, we all know what menstruation is. I mean, it's the...
No, I know. We know. It's just an example. This is not a question to get at you, but I'm just giving an example. Yes.
Okay, but hear me out. It's the time of the month. However, for a woman. However, even when the Quran discusses menstruation, even let's say you didn't know what the word means, look at the context it's in. Are you telling me that context is not clear? Avoid your wife for a certain period. She's quote unquote impure, etc., etc. And after that period is over, you may approach her from where God has ordained you. How much clearer than that does it get?
Now the word mahid, it has to be translated.
Did you hear what I said? Without the word, I gave you the context. Is that context not clear?
Yeah. But then how can you know that particular thing your wife has? How can you know it is about menstruation?
Because it says after that period is over, approach her from where God has ordained you.
Good. So but how can you put it into context? Yeah, I get your point. But I said, how can you put it into context without knowing what that word means?
I just gave you the context.
No, even with context, you are just reading English to me. If you read it in Arabic language, the word is mahid. Now, if it says mahid, and I say, give me the meaning of mahid, is it the Quran explaining to you what menstruating is? Or is it you already know what it is?
The context is explaining that.
It's impossible.
Okay. Tell me.
Give me an example. Open one verse and tell me how the context tells you about menstruation.
All right, give me the verse that the menstruation is in. Give me that verse.
Chapter 2, verse 222.
Now listen to this, please, yeah? Please listen to this. I'm gonna go for word. And they ask you about ... I'm not even gonna translate it. And they ask you about ... Say it is harmful. So keep away from the women during ... and do not approach them until they are clean. Then when they are purified, then come to them from whereas God has ordained. Indeed, God loves those who turn in repentance, and he loves those who are purified. What, are you telling me that context is not clear?
So that word, how will you know? Now put it in the
I left
context.
the word untranslated.
Yes, but what does it mean? The word.
The only thing it can mean in this context. What? Tell me what options there are in this context.
If we don't know the meaning of the word al-mahid, I'm asking you, how are we going to figure out the meaning in this context? Tell me.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you, that this particular context is referring to something that women in general, there's not a particular woman, women in general go through at certain times. When they go through this thing at certain times, then God says to avoid them because they are not clean. And then God says when they are clean, then you may come to them from where God has ordained you. Now, when you look at your woman, there is only one thing that happens to her every so often. And then every so often that one thing disappears and she's now clean. And then God says, approach her from where God has ordained you. She happens to have something that is particularly designed for you to approach. I mean, come on.
Oh,
How much clearer can you get?
Oh, you don't get it. I get what the Quran says, right? I'm just...
Notice, I didn't translate the word.
Huh?
I didn't translate the word.
You didn't translate what?
Yeah, I didn't translate the word. I'm saying when you read that context, it is necessary for the word to be menstruation. It is absolutely necessary. What's the option?
So does the meaning play a role? What if I put a different word there? Will the context remain?
All right, give me one.
If I put a different word, let's say I put emotion. Because you said the context that wait, you said the meaning doesn't matter. It's just the context. So let me put a word there. I put emotion there. Let me just put emotion.
Go ahead. Good luck.
Will the context remain the same, or will the subject remain the same? Tell me.
The context will reject that.
What about the subject?
But again, you keep saying subject and context like they're two different things. They're not. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. In this particular discussion, they are not two different things. Every context is the subject, and every subject is the context. They're not two different things. Like, for instance, okay, let me give you an example. In this particular verse that we are reading, the subject is about not approaching women at certain periods. That's the subject. In this particular context, the context is not approaching women at certain periods. It's the same thing. So for instance, let's say we threw in the word emotion. If we threw in the word emotion, the context would reject that, because what's purity got to do with emotion, and what's approaching them from where God has ordained you got to do with emotion. So the context simply will not allow it.
So then that means the meaning of a word is very important.
No, the context is very important. The whole point I'm trying to make to you is the context will always dictate the definition of a word.
Let me come back to it. It says, listen, it says, when they ask you about al-mahid, do you see the subject there? When they ask you about the mahid, let's stop there. Let's not continue into the context. But this is the subject here of discussion, because this is what is going to be discussed now. Yeah.
And the context.
I know. I said let's not go to the context yet.
No, you already did. Check this out.
Oh wait. I didn't do it. I told you Quran can mention subjects also, right? I told you it can mention subjects.
They're the same. You just did the same thing.
No, I didn't. If they ask you about the
Al-Mahid, let me show you how you did.
Yes, how did I do it?
Okay, cool. When you say they ask you about menstruation, let's just leave it at that. They ask you about menstruation. You would call that the subject, right?
No, it's a demonstration.
All right, cool. When they ask you about the menstruation, cool, no problem. Let's hear each other. They ask you about the menstruation. You would call that the subject, right?
Yes.
I can equally say that is the context. Period.
How did you know it's without the meaning of the word?
Oh, you're taking the meaning of the word away from me.
The meaning decides what the context is giving you.
Okay,
without you don't get my.
But now
Yes, you didn't get my example. I understand. I agree with you. You don't get me. I'm not saying context is not needed. Wait, come on. We exchange messages on this concerning context. I understand context is needed. But I'm telling you, we have certain discussions when we have to discuss it. My stand is we can even stay to the subject without going into details, because then you and I already know what the context is about. For instance, if we are talking right now and I say demonstration, you and I both know what menstruation is. So do we need to go into context to explain in detail again what the menstruation entails? No, we will just stay there.
Now you're talking about someone who knows the language and someone who doesn't.
Yes, it plays a role. It plays a role.
But you're not talking about the difference between subject and context. You're talking about the difference between someone who knows the language and someone who doesn't.
The reason is we are dealing with a bilingual thing. We are dealing with English and Arabic, right? So we are taking a subject from Arabic language and bringing it to English language, right? Now, the subject being in Arabic language, without us knowing the meaning of what it means in English, how can we get the context? Do you get my point?
But I don't know. See, the thing is, right. The thing is, I think you're putting too much importance on the meaning of a word, because I'm trying to show you, Shuaib, irregardless of the meaning of a word, it will always be dictated by the context. Always. Okay. I'm trying to show you, it literally doesn't matter what you say a word means, because the moment you put that word in a context, that word has to fit the context. If it doesn't fit the context, then the word's meaning changes or the word is rejected. There is literally nothing in between.
Okay, good. So now we are at exactly where I want us to be, right? So now concerning the word Sajda, I want you to put it into context for me according to chapter 38, verse 72.
Okay. All right. Well, the verse alone is simply, once I designed him and blew into him from my spirit, you shall, quote unquote, fall down to him, submitting or prostrating. So you have two choices here. There are two alternatives. Either A, they are to simply physically prostrate before Adam, or B, they are to submit to Adam, or in other words, be friendly with Adam. Now I say that because the angels who have, quote unquote, prostrated, let's say physically for argument's sake, they are our friends. They help us. They support us. All of it because of God. However, the alternative, the one that decided not to prostrate to us, he is basically our enemy. So not only does he not do what we want or do for us or anything of the sort, he does the opposite. He is our enemy. So if you consider the difference between the two, submission is justified. Physical prostration simply I don't know what that means. I don't know why God would simply just want um, the angels and Iblis to just physically prostrate to Adam. Because to see, people got to understand what the symbol of physical prostration is. Physical prostration is a symbol of collapse in front of something or someone one considers superior. It is a symbol of adoration as well as a symbol of yielding and subservience. The reason it's a symbol of yielding and or subservience is because you are facing down, and when you are facing down, you are in a disadvantageous position. So you're basically saying that you are not resisting to this superior being. That's what that means. So there is no reason to assume that God would require that symbol from the angels, nonetheless, to show that symbol to Adam. Nor is there even a reason to assume that Adam would desire such a symbol. Um, so it's baseless, really. And secondly, this word falling down, as we already know, again, falling down depends on the context. There's nothing about falling down that necessitates literal. It can be literal and it can also be metaphorical, such as falling in love, etc. Now, what you cannot have is you cannot have both falling down and prostrating together if you want them both to mean the same thing. Because if you say falling down is literal and you say that prostration is also literal, then you are literally saying the same thing twice. If you talk about physical prostration is literally the act of physical collapse that results in falling down. That is what physical prostration is. So if you've already said falling down, you've literally just said prostration. So you would literally be just repeating yourself saying prostrating, prostrating. You can't have that. So
Are you done?
I'm about to. So linguistically, you couldn't have it. According to the theme of the Quran, you couldn't have it. According to the context that the word is found in, you couldn't have it. And that's my point. Over to you.
Now, good. So now we can see you are placing emphasis on the meaning of words, which is interesting. You see, the word they mentioned there, fakau. Fakau comes from the word waka'a. Waka'a means to fall upon something, to fall. You understand? Now, there is no word, there is no dictionary or any vocabulary in this world which can tell you the word fall down means prostration. I can fall down just by walking. I can stumble and fall down. It has nothing to do with prostration. Something can fall from the sky, as said in chapter 22, verse 31, can fall from the sky and fall down without the notion of prostration. It has nothing to do with prostration. Prostration is a symbol of what? Submission. It's a sign of submission. So when somebody prostrates, it has a different meaning. Then the word falling down or fall down also has a different notion. We don't join them together. But since the book comes from God, and God is the best explainer of everything, if he has to explain himself to you, he has to explain in the best possible way, not to leave room for argument. So what does he do? He has to utilize words, not in the form of the way human beings use, because we humans have our own way of forming words. For instance, if you take the Quran, it starts with Alif Lam Mim. You don't take an ordinary book written by a human being to see just Yasin, Alif Lam Mim, Alif Lam Ra. You understand? To us as human beings, we wouldn't start writing books with that initials, but God does, because he is God and he has no equals. So to say the word fallen down shouldn't be used with the word sujud in the same context, that is your opinion, because there is no factual information to disprove that with it. Secondly, the reason why I say put it into context for me, because I know you will go into the meaning of words. So when you first read it, you spoke about two alternatives. Then you said it can mean prostration, or it can mean submitting. Now, how are the angels supposed to show Adam submission without physically doing an action for him to see? So this is why God used the word falling down. For before him, it used lahu, so that you can see the action falling down before him or to him, so that Adam can actually see their submission. Now, let's say I'm standing in front of Adam and I say I submit without uttering a word, without making any action to give him the meaning. How will Adam know I've submitted? I'm showing him submission, because he didn't give me commands. It was God who is instructing me to prostrate for him, right? So let's use the word sujud. God says I should do sujud to Adam. Now let's assume I've put the meaning submission without showing any sign, but I've submitted to Adam. How am I going to show Adam that I've done the submission? Because Adam is not giving me any instructions to follow. Adam didn't say, hey, Shoaib, get up, do this, do that. It was God telling me I should show my submission to Adam. But how? In which form? Do you get my point? So if I put the word into context, I need to know the meaning of the word before I can choose the option of the words, because words have multiple meanings. I can't always put things into context without knowing the subjects of discussion. Do you get my point? So if I'm dealing, that's something we call the predicate of a sentence. Predicate. Now, if I'm dealing with a sentence, for instance, for people who have read Romeo and Juliet, written by William Shakespeare, if you are given one paragraph or just a page of the book, no matter how you understand English, and they say put it into context without knowing the subject of discussion or content, just put it into context, you will see words you are familiar with, but you can't put it into context. Do you see the point? So here we have choice. You can have a choice by saying, oh, this word can mean this, can mean that, can mean that. That is your choice. But remember, language plays a role, a meaning of words plays a role before context come in. Now, when there is a word without meaning, that's why words have multiple meanings. It's impossible for you to say, I can just have a book, I just need context. Look, I can give many of the viewers here the Romeo and Juliet book, and almost all of them cannot put it into context without knowing the subject and context of the book. Just by knowing English doesn't help you. Do you see my point? Now, what I'm trying to head here is, if you take the Quran, when God is utilizing words together, first of all, you need to understand that God is not a human being. So you don't have to think about the words of God in the level of a human sense, as human beings writing, so they will not write this here or that here or this here. It has to be in the level of God, which we need to understand, first of all. So when we started, I asked you, what is the meaning of Sajda? And then you give your own meanings, which I'm yet to find. Where is your source? Where does it come from? Where did you get the source of those meanings? Because everything has a source. Every knowledge has a source. So if you have a meaning of a word, where did you get the meaning from? From which source? You draw the conclusion by saying Sajda can only mean submission in the Quran and nothing else. Right? Now, I can prove to you a lot of sense in the Quran where Sajda also means prostration. Somebody might say, oh, how can a moon and the sun prostrate? Ladies and gentlemen, we eat. Ahmed, you eat as well. Animals eat. But do we eat the same way? No. I eat with my hands. Sometimes with a fork or spoon. That's called eating.
When an animal is eating, he's eating in a different way. When a bird is eating in a different way. When a fish is eating in a different way. It's all called eating. Remember.
So how does
not in the
so
same
how does
way.
a moon prostrate?
Huh?
So how does a moon prostrate?
You see, you are asking me how does a moon prostrate? Do you get the point?
Yeah.
Does the moon rise? Does the moon rise?
That's not the question.
No, I know, but you are asking me how does it. I'm going to explain to you. Does the moon rise?
From our perspective, possibly, but I don't know how that
Does the moon set as the sun sets? The sun rise, the sun set, right?
Oh, so are we saying the moon prostrates by quote unquote?
No, I'm just asking you a question. I'm not saying, because God says even their glorification we cannot comprehend it.
We're not talking about glorification though.
No, I'm just giving an example that even God says even their glorification. If I cannot understand your glorification, how can I even understand?
Okay, tell me how. Okay, okay, let's make it simple so we don't use the whole setting and all of that. How about a tree? Tell us how a tree prostrates. Yeah.
Now, so this is where
we can see how a tree prostrates. So tell us how.
Yeah, I explained to you. Now, if you go to the Quran, several instances, like I told you, prostration is a sign of what? Submission. Now, every entity in this world can have a sign of showing their own way of submission. It doesn't necessarily have to be putting your head, because we are humans, so we can put our head to the ground because we are humans. Remember, like I told you,
does the tree move?
Don't you see them moving when the wind?
When trees move, are they prostrating? Is that what they're doing?
That is what I'm telling you. You cannot comprehend.
No, but hold on. The trees don't move on their own accord, though.
Still, you human being, you the human being, are you moving by your own will? It's God who gave you the capacity to move.
Yeah, well, no, but are you comparing me to a tree? At least I have.
So you are bringing the instance in. You are saying prostration. If we are doing how do trees do, you brought in the comparison.
No, but you want to tell me that trees prostrate. Now, the act of prostrating requires a choice. What choice do trees have?
Look, I didn't mention the word, and I said trees prostrate. I said,
but that's what the Quran says. No,
I said prostration is a sign of submission, and I told you.
How does the tree show that sign?
God never said we can comprehend that. Did he say that?
No, but he actually said we see it. He said we see. Look,
no. He never said you see it.
All right, I'll give you.
Give me a verse. Give me. I'm very good at this. So give me a verse.
Chapter 22.
Verse 18.
Verse 18. Alam
Read
tara.
it.
Alam tara inna Allah.
Does he say you see or do you not see?
Are you saying tara is not seeing?
It's a question. Check the word verse. Tara.
The word tara.
No. I understand you. Check the verse. Is it a question or does it say you see?
Do you not see requires you to see?
No.
How can anyone say do you not see if you can't see it?
Brother, let me give you a simple example. We come back to this verse. Now listen. Let me give you two simple verses to explain something to you. I'm very good at this. I've been to the Quran many years. So let me show you two things here. We come back to this verse. If you go to chapter 48, verse 29, God is clearly telling us we can see. He's not asking a question. Are you with me? We are coming back to this verse.
Which verse?
Chapter 48, verse 29.
Okay.
48, verse 29. In that verse, God is clearly saying you see them.
Okay.
You see them. He didn't say do you not see. No. You see them. Ruk'an sujadan.
Okay.
It's a physical act. I can see them happening. It's not a question.
Whoa. Why is it physical?
It is physical.
No. Hold on.
Because I can see it. No, because I can see it.
Can I ask you something?
If I can see something, it's physical.
No. Okay, you're right. What you can see is somewhat physical, but it's not the symbol. It's not the symbol that you have in mind. Hear me out. Listen to me. It's not the symbol that
We are
you
not
have in
talking
mind.
about this.
Can I just show
We
you?
are only talking about the seeing.
All right,
No, we
let
are
me just
talking
show
about
you.
seeing.
Okay, fine. Let me just show
We
you
are
what you
talking
are
about the
seeing.
seeing.
All right, give me a second, man. Let me show you what you're seeing in this verse. Let me show you in this particular
Show
verse.
me.
I'm not even going to go beyond it. Listen to this. In the same verse. Muhammad, a messenger of God. Now listen to this part. Those with him, harsh against the disbelievers and merciful amongst themselves. Now, when they are harsh against the disbelievers and merciful amongst themselves, are they submitting to the commands of God?
No, it's you haven't finished the sentence. It's continuous. There's no full stop there.
I'm trying to show you something very simple. When they are harsh against the disbelievers and merciful amongst themselves, are they submitting to the commands of God?
Yes, God asked them to do that. I can show you a verse where he says they should do
God
that.
asked them to do that, right? Okay, so if God asked them to do that, and they and you see them doing that, then you see them submitting, do you not?
No. Wait. Continue the verse into context. Don't stop there.
Before I do you mind just answering my question? Just answer my question. If you see them, let's say you're there at that time. If you see them harsh against the disbelievers of that time because they were persecuting them, and they were merciful amongst themselves, do you see them submitting to the commands of God? You do,
I
right?
see them submitting? Do I see them? If I'm there, I'm not there. So how do I see them? Yes.
If you're there, look, if you acknowledge.
Yes, if I'm there, I'll see. Yes. I understand you.
So it didn't have to be physical then, did it?
No, it's physical. If you're seeing, it's physical. Anything you see is physical. If you don't see, okay, can I see the wind?
You're referring to a symbol.
No, I'm not talking about symbol. I didn't mention about symbol. I said the word see. That is the word I was basing my issue at. You said, God said, we can see the moon and the stars prostrating. And I said, he never said so. He asked you a question. Yeah, that's what brought us here.
Right. I cannot ask you, do you not see if you can't see it?
Several times in the Quran, do you not see? It's not, doesn't literally mean see with the eye. If a question comes, I can show you.
Give me an example.
Good. Open the Quran, chapter 2, verse 246.
Shu'aib, I'm telling you, the term do you not see is not possible to be uttered unless it is something you actually see.
Yeah, open it, let's see.
All right, chapter 2. See, do you see to the chiefs of the children of Israel from after Moses?
Read it. Wait. Read it again. You didn't read it well.
Oh, sorry. Did you not see? Yeah, did you not see to the leaders of children of Israel from after Moses when they said to a prophet of theirs, appoint for us a king and we will fight in the cause of God? He said, would you all perhaps, if it was decreed upon you fighting, then not you fight, and what for us that not we fight in the cause of God, while already we were driven, evicted from our homes and our children, yet it was decreed upon them fighting, then they turned away except a few among them, and God is nowhere aware of the transgressors. Okay.
Did Muhammad see it?
Nope. Here, listen to this now. First and foremost, who's being addressed?
The prophet.
Who's being addressed?
The prophet.
Are the children of Israel being addressed?
No. In that verse, they are not addressed. Look at the question. He's talking to a second person singular.
Okay.
It's a question to a second person singular. So check it.
Okay. The prophet is being addressed, but is the prophet conveying this to the children of Israel?
No. God is conveying to him.
I know. But is he conveying to the children of Israel or not? Is he addressing the children of Israel or not?
Who?
The prophet. Is he told?
In this verse, no, in this verse, in this verse, God was only telling him in this verse.
Okay, no problem. Now let me ask you this. The verse is addressing the prophet. The prophet is obviously, as a prophet, he's a believer of this scripture, correct? Correct? Now, please tell me, what is the difference between what he actually sees and what God tells him and what God tells him about? Is there a difference?
What I wanted, what is there any difference about what he sees? He didn't see this with the eyes physically.
But
he
no, but he's told. But he's told. He's told by God. What he's told by God. What he's told by God is literally the same as that which you see yourself. In fact, you can trust what God has told you more than that which your eyes see.
Yes, because God even told us all the creatures. Wait. He told us all the creatures he created, they speak. Even the hellfire will speak. But I cannot see it. I cannot comprehend it. But it doesn't mean I doubt it.
But no. Wait. I don't. We'll go to the verse that you're talking about hellfire. But sticking to this verse here. This verse does not necessarily. Actually, this verse is no different than me saying to you, "Do you not see that the sun is there? That there is such a thing as the sun?" There is no difference whatsoever. Because what God tells you is equivalent, is literally the same, if not even more truthful than that which you actually witness. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but that is God's thinking. We are not arguing that fact. My question is, did Muhammad witness this with his eyes? I'm asking you. Did he see it happening?
Yes.
Where?
I'm saying
the context doesn't say.
No, but you're trying to make a difference where there isn't.
Yeah, but the issue you are reading didn't happen at his era. It happened in the previous era. So how can he see that? I'm asking you.
He doesn't have to. If God says it.
Similarly, but similarly, I don't need to see the moon and the sun prostrating physically for me to know they prostrate.
But the moon, listen, seeing the moon, you seeing the moon is not the same as that which God has told you factually happened. You're comparing the incomparable.
No, with the moon, God. No, wait, brother. Do you know even the moon, God emphatically stated in the Quran that they do it?
Huh?
The moon. You don't know God said it in the Quran that they prostrate, both the sun and the moon, they do it to him. He said it in the Quran. I can show you the verse.
Again, when God says that in the Quran, you're comparing again the incomparable. You have to know how language works, bro. When God says that in the Quran, he's talking to mankind. He's trying to convince mankind in general about the message. You understand? So when Allah tries to convince mankind in general about the message, he points to demonstrable things that all human beings can observe. You understand? So when God talks about the moon, the stages of life, etc., that doesn't require belief. These are demonstrable things that all of us can observe. And it's because we can observe these things, that's why we accept that the Quran is from God. However, when God is addressing the prophet, he's not addressing mankind. He's addressing the biggest believer, for crying out loud. This is the prophet himself. He doesn't doubt for 1 minute about the message he's getting. So you're comparing the incomparable. And this is why I said to you, look, every single term, every single word, Shu'aib, every single word, irregardless of the language, depends on the context. Now notice every single conversation we have about any of the examples that you have brought, you have basically focused on the particular word. And I'm trying to show you how the contexts are what determines the words. That's all it is.
Not always.
Okay, give me one. This whole conversation could be done if you just give me a single scenario where a context does not determine the definition of a word. Just one.
That is what I'm bringing you. Well, wait, somebody's interrupting my phone. That is why I gave you the example of a sentence I made, and I said, Papa, yeah. I just have a email. Okay, yeah, call them. Okay. Huh? Order. Yeah. You see, that is why I gave you the examples that in my records of the 11 years I've been studying my Quran by myself, I deal with 3 issues: subject, context, and content. I'm not saying context is irrelevant. So stop asking me questions as if I have to take context out. No, context is part of what I use. But I'm telling you that I use 3 at once. I don't use only one. You decide. You are saying we have to use one, right? Is that what you're saying? Only context you are dealing with, right?
You're talking about the 3 like they're different things, Shu'aib.
They are different.
Shu'aib. Okay, tell me how you can have.
No.
All right.
Look, they are different
without content. All right, can you have subject without content?
Can I have a subject without what?
Content.
It depends on the person who knows. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if I'm talking to you and I say, Ahmed, did you see the boy? And you say you don't see the boy, doesn't mean I don't know the boy. I the one talking. Does that mean I don't know the boy?
But Shu'aib, do you know what the word content means? Even the definition of a word is content.
Yes.
So you know the definition of a word is a content. So technically you've gone nowhere. I'm trying to show you there is no word, there is no subject without content. There is no subject without context. There is no context without subject. You're speaking about it as though it's separate things, whereas you need the 3 in order to justify any of them.
Yes, but they if you tell me they are similar, fine. They can be interchangeable, but it's not the same thing.
In this discussion,
yes, but wait. There are elements which are needed together. It's like me cooking using onion, salt, and whatever have you. They are all needed in the food to make it a complete food. Do you get my point? I can never make a stew without oil. If I want to make a stew, I need oil to go. But the most important element of my food will be the salt to add to make the difference. But that doesn't mean I should say they are all the same. They are not the same.
Salt and oil are different things. Subject and context are not. You listen, we are discussing literacy. We're not discussing maths. We're not discussing chemistry. We're not discussing football. We're discussing literacy. And in literacy, irregardless of the language, and this is what I'll keep trying to show you, this really is not a matter of the Quran. This is not a matter of the Quran. This is not a matter of being a believer. It really isn't. This is actually simply a matter of literacy. Because with literacy, the 3 go hand in hand. Subject, content, and context. They go hand in hand. There is
they are not the same.
No, they are literally the same. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
They are not. That is what
I
also won't agree. I will not agree with you.
Okay, I'm proving it to you. I'm gonna prove it.
No, I gave you an example. You couldn't do it. I gave you an example. You didn't do it.
Let me just finish. Listen.
Okay.
I'm gonna prove it to you. The reason I said to you when it comes to like literacy, maths, chemistry, etc. The reason I said that to you is because when it comes to say maths, chemistry, all these other topics, you can say you have subjects. You can even say you have content, but you don't have context. You can say that. If discussing maths, discussing particular fields, they can have subjects and they can have content, or they can have content alone and maybe no subject, or they can have subject and no content, whatever. But when you are discussing literacy, when you are discussing sentences that form context, that form chapters, that then form a particular theme. When you're discussing a book, when you're discussing a message, when you're discussing communication, full stop. When you're discussing communication, full stop, communication has all three elements interchangeably. They are not different. You literally cannot communicate without content. There is no content means nothing without subject, and subject means nothing without context. The three go hand in hand. They are the same thing when it comes to communication.
Okay,
That's
no problem.
I need you to understand.
No problem. Let's not stick to this point for long, but let me make it easy here. We were talking about, do you not see, and you are placing emphasis about because God says it, so the prophet, whatever. I want you to understand that this is the only part God says, do you not see? He has using different formalities. For instance, concerning the birds, when you go to chapter 24, where he's talk about, is it chapter 24, verse 41, where it talks about the birds in the sky. If you can check it up,
Yeah.
the birds, concerning the birds.
Yeah.
And God says they glorify God concerning their glorifications, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can just open it up here. Chapter 24, verse 41, Surah An-Nur. And there's something I want us to pay attention there. Now, let me try to open it here.
So, hey, do we agree that this is a matter of literacy? Just so I want to see if we're in the same
no, of
boat here.
Of course. If you're dealing with the written manuscript, of course, it's about literacy. Why not? But of course,
okay, so
you can be.
This isn't a matter of position. This isn't really a matter of believer. It's literally a matter of literacy. And with literacy, you have to accept that it is like determined by context. There is no literacy without context.
No problem.
That has to be
you should bear in mind. You should bear in mind the Quran is a confirmation of something which is previous. Not Quran is not standing on its own alone.
Oh, it is.
It confirms something.
It's still a
it confirms something. I know, but it's a confirmation. Quran is not there to bear witness of itself alone. It's there to confirm something. So whatever it confirms, the subject continues. It is not like a Quran is bringing new subjects. That is not the point.
Okay, fine. All right, fine.
Do you get me?
But the
Quran
final arbiter, I agree with you, but the final arbiter is still the Quran.
Of course, Quran is the criterion. So that's the final book, but of course. But if you take chapter 24, verse 41, God used the word Alam tara anna Allah yusabbihu lahu man fi samawati wal ard. Then he mentioned the birds. Watayru safat. Now he's asking the question, do you not see that God glorifies whatever is in the heavens and the what? Earth. And he says the birds, safat, in rows. Now, this is a question. It doesn't mean the prophet can see it with his eyes that the heavens and the earth are glorifying. Or not, neither does it mean he understands that.
Why
did you see the verse?
Yeah,
why will I say that? Because it's clearly explained again in the Quran chapter 17 verse 44. You can check it there. Then we come back. Check it, open it and check.
What
1744. 1744.
Okay, remember this particular one was talking about two different things. Okay, this one is specifically talking about glorification, but the verse before, the verse before was talking about salah and glorification. So, for argument's sake, for argument's sake, I'll accept that you may not necessarily understand the glorification, but that does not apply to the bird salah.
Well, we are not talking about salah. The first sentence I read, I didn't complete. I didn't say kullu. If I went to the kullu, we will talk about that. I'm just reading the first line about the glorification.
Okay,
that's what I was telling you.
It's not for the actually the glorification is the second line. The first line is
no. Wait, relax, relax.
Okay, sorry. You're right. The glorification is the first line. However, I accept. Listen to what I said to you. I accept that we may not necessarily know how it glorifies because of the verse that you produced. I accept that. However, that the verse that's talking about we don't know how to glorify is specific to glorify. So that does not apply to this particular verse, which also mentions salah. So in this particular verse 24:41, I accept we don't know how the bird glorifies, but we for damn sure know how the bird does its salah according to the verse.
No, I'm not talking about salah. Let's not deviate to the topic. Salat, we can arrange a different topic.
No, I'm not talking about salah. Listen, the focus is not salah. The focus is the word see. The seeing can still be applied at least as it pertains to the salah. So the focus is not the salah. The focus is the seeing.
Good. Now, the seeing here, God says, do you not see that to God glorifies whatever is in the heavens and the earth and the birds in rows, right? Now, it's a question also, can you consider? It is about consideration. Can you even consider? Do you understand? Something you pay attention to, but you can't understand or comprehend how they do their glorification. You can't. I'm just giving an example. Even though God says, do you not see? It is a question to raise to you what God is saying in the book.
That ain't the only thing though. Shoaib, stop doing that. That's not the only thing. Do you not see can still be applied to the salah?
I'm not talking about salat.
Do you not see. You're trying to eliminate do you not see by the word glorification. And I'm trying to tell you the word do you not see is still valid because that can apply to the salah that the birds does. So the seeing is still valid.
It's a question. You still don't get my point. God was asking a question in that verse.
Oh, but the question necessitates that you are able to see this.
No.
You can't ask a question that cannot be fulfilled.
No. I just gave you chapter 2, verse 246. Did the prophet see the children of Israel when the prophet was?
It's a different context.
It is not different. No, it is not different. Look, wait, let me give you another example. Chapter 2, verse 258, concerning Abraham. God asked the prophet the same question. Do you not see? Did you not see? Now, I'm trying to raise attention here. Just because we say the moon and the sun and we use the word they show their submission to God doesn't necessarily mean they have to prostrate the way you, the human being, prostrate. Just like the sharks in the sea don't eat the same way I'm eating. I eat with my hands. I eat with fork. I eat with spoon. Does that mean if they are eating, they should eat the same way I'm eating?
I haven't spoken about anything to do with the same way.
No. You place an emphasis on prostration, and you said, "Oh, the trees, do they prostrate the way you do?" That's how you ask.
No. I did not say the way you do.
Then how did you ask you? Then how did you ask? How did you ask?
I asked you, how do they prostrate? I didn't tell you the way you do.
Then
you tell me.
You can tell me anything that is like. But that is what prompted me to bring you to the verses to show you that it doesn't necessarily mean when God says, "Do you not see?" It doesn't mean necessarily mean you can see it.
The verses you are using, none of Shoaib. You are trying to conflate words willy-nilly. Like for instance, when you want to talk about not being able to see, not being able to see, not being able to understand how the things in heaven and glorify God, the specific word in question is glorify. Specific word in question is glorify. You cannot speak about glorify and sajda as they are one of the same things.
We can use, for example,
there's nowhere in the Quran. Listen. Nowhere in the Quran. One second. Nowhere in the Quran does it say you do not know how they prostrate. Does it say that anywhere?
Neither does it say you see it.
What?
Neither does it say you can see it.
It does. Okay, it does. 22:18. How does it not say that? Furthermore, before we even go there,
it was only talking. Relax. It was talking to the prophet, not you.
No, 22:18.
So check the verse again. 22:18. It was talking to the prophet. Check. Yes. Check again.
Alam tara anna Allah yasjudu.
He's talking to a prophet.
Are you saying Alam tara anna Allah yasjudu lahu?
Yes, he's talking to the prophet.
Huh?
He's talking to the prophet, not you. Just like I gave you the chapter 2, verse 246. He's talking to the prophet.
Hold on.
Check it again.
1 minute. If I go to the verse before, those who believe, those who are Jewish, the Magians, the Christians, etc. Okay, nothing about this indicates. We have thus revealed clear revelations therein. God guides whomever he wills. I'm even going before that. If anyone thinks that God cannot support him in this life and in the hereafter, who's that addressing? 22:15.
Now keep going. There's something, but remember, there's a fikra. Do you understand fikra? Paragraph in Arabic also.
Well, no. But brother, we really need to calm down with the mystical, magical Arabic. Is this? If anyone thinks that God cannot support him in this life and in the hereafter, is that addressing the audience or is that addressing the prophet alone?
No, but I didn't mention that verse. So why are you asking me about verse I never mentioned?
I'm mentioning this verse because I'm going.
No. That verse, the paragraph of that verse has nothing to do with the verse below.
Well,
you should understand there are paragraphs.
Well,
there is a paragraph. Listen.
Well, hold on.
Check.
Will you just give me a minute, bro?
Why didn't you do that with the previous verse when I gave you about Alam Tara? You were placing a verse and said, the prophet, the God showed him, so he knows it. You didn't check the verse prior to that.
And I didn't feel like I needed to.
Okay, now you are trying to join paragraphs together. Different
claims. I want to confirm the claim.
Good. So now you are joining two paragraphs together. They don't match.
No, I'm not joining anything. I'm just trying to go to the beginning of the context.
Good. 22:17 has nothing to do with 22:18. So don't ask me about that question. Check the 22:18. It's a different paragraph.
Okay. If 22:18 has nothing to do with 2017, then how do you conclude that it's only addressing the messenger?
You see where language plays a role. This is where you should know. He's talking to a second person pronoun there.
Tell me how.
Alam tara. Alam tara. Look at the question.
So what would it be if it was addressing the audience?
It's just simple. No, it is just simple. If it's addressing the audience, that statement will be in a plural form.
Okay, tell me.
It will not be in a singular form.
Okay, give me the plural.
No, I can give you an example.
No, why don't you just?
I can give you an example. You can say "Ara'aytum."
So, but wait.
It's like a question. Like if you
wait. Let me make sure I follow. So if it was plural, it would say "Alam tara'aytum."
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
If it was plural, then it would say Alam tara'aytum. Well, isn't that interesting? You know what? For argument's sake, I'm gonna let that one go. However, let me just understand. Let me just make sure I understand what you're telling me. So you're telling me this verse, which is talking about objective things. So, for instance, everything in the heavens and the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the trees, the animals, and many people. Would you say that those things are objective things?
Will I say they are objective things in which sense? As to based on the verse that they are things
subjective about those things. They are objective, as in all of us can see the moon, the trees, the etc. Right?
Yes, we can see them. Yes.
Okay, then why would God address the messenger only about objective things that all of us can observe?
Now you're asking me a question. That's why the question is in the book. We can all see why it's being told that, so that we can learn from
the claim. No, you
No,
made
no.
the claim. So I'm
Yes,
trying to
I made the
justify that
claim. Good. I made a claim because sometimes if God has to address you, he has to use the first person that he's talking to address everybody. For instance, when God
so
says,
is he
La
addressing
taqrabu zina,
everybody?
wa la taqrabu zina. Pardon?
So is he addressing everybody?
Is he addressing everybody? In which sense? When he use, sometimes he will use the addressing to the prophet. Sometimes, I'm answering a question. Sometimes he will address to the prophet directly, but that goes to everybody.
Okay, so does this go to all of us then?
Of course, we can use it, but I'm saying
So
just
we even have this discussion?
No, based on what you did previously, you stood on the point saying that, oh, that verse was talking to the prophet, and then since God is telling him, oh, Nadira, when I gave you chapter 2, verse 246, you were placing the emphasis that it was talking to the prophet. So in the
okay, it's talking to the believers. No, you said it was talking to the prophet, and I went ahead with it. But even if it's talking to the believers, let's say like myself, for instance, I trust the Quran 100%. So when God says, "Do you not see?" I take that as 100% equal to something that I actually see. There is no difference. You tell me the difference.
So this is where now this is where linguistically the role of words you see in the Quran doesn't always mean the word doesn't always mean literally. That's where you need to understand that. Now, when we say, listen, when we say ara'aytum or ara'ayta or tara, it doesn't always mean see with the eye. It can also mean do you consider, do you not consider, or do you not like?
It's clarified by the context. Fine.
So when you take chapter 16, when you take chapter 16, verse 49, and chapter 13, verse 15, God was already telling us that the heavens and the earth, the moon, the sun are already showing submission, prostrating to him. Do you understand? He's already telling us.
How do you understand it? How do they prostrate to him?
How can I know that?
Because he's talking to you.
Yeah, but how can I know that? He is telling me that. Doesn't mean I have to doubt it.
No, but Shuaib, listen.
No, do you know?
God talking to mankind.
Do you know he said hellfire can speak? He can make your hands even speak. Okay, how can I know that? How can I know when the hands are speaking to God? Tell me.
That's Judgment Day, Shuaib.
Some things you cannot know.
Shuaib, that's Judgment Day.
What? So what difference does it make? No. So what does that make? What difference does it make?
The difference is God can do what he wills on Judgment Day.
Good. So now he is telling you, the moon, the sun, the heavens, and the earth, they show submission. Whether you translate it as showing submission, whether prostration, they are doing that act. All right. But how do you expect me, the human being?
We have to identify what that act is now.
What?
We have to identify the particular act that the trees, the moon, the sun, and some people do, including animals. We have to identify what that is.
Did he say you can? No. Did he say you can identify that? Did he say that?
Then why would he tell me if I can't identify it?
It means we are doubting God.
No, what are you talking? Listen, Shuaib. God is telling me something here. He's telling me something happens, and you're telling me I'm not meant to know what happens.
Not everything. Can you know everything when God tell you something?
Right. This is not about everything. This is about a specific thing that God is telling me happens. Why would God tell me something, a specific thing happens if I can't verify it?
Dude, he told you there are angels around you. Have you ever verified to see the angel around you?
There we go again, right, man. Why are we playing what about all the time? Focus on this particular question here.
I understand. I'm giving you an example.
This particular question, listen, I will answer all of your whataboutery. I promise, because they will all be resolved by the context they're in. I promise you. However, this particular one is God specifically telling me, do you not see? Do you not see?
He said, oh, that you see, dude. Ahmed, you are taking it literally. I just told you the word tara doesn't.
How else is there to take it? How else do you take it? Tell me how else. Tell me how else.
I just told you. I'm telling you. God explained in chapter 16, verse 49, and chapter 13, verse 15, what the moon, the sun, the heavens, and the earth do for him. Can you check it right now? Just check it so that the argument catch up.
I guarantee it's going to be glorification again. Go ahead. Give me the verse.
No, you check. Chapter 16, verse 49. Check it.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. So God prostrates everything in the heaven and everything on the earth, every creature, and so do the angels without the least arrogance. Look at this. God even gave you a hint. Listen to this. Look at the hint. And they are not arrogant. He even gave you a hint.
No problem. The next one is 13:15. Check it.
Wait, before we move on, what do you think you've shown me in this verse?
Oh, I was telling you that God tells us what they do.
Okay.
Do I need to see it?
Why not?
No.
Why not?
I don't need to see it to believe it. Dude, what is wrong now?
Okay. When
do
you
I
say,
need to see it to believe?
Wait. Okay. When you say, do I need to see it to believe it? Listen to this. When you say, do I need to see it to believe it? Believe what?
What he just said. What he just described.
All right. What did he say? What does that mean to you? What he said, how do you understand what he said?
How do I understand what he said? You just read it, man. How do I need to understand it again?
All right. He said everything in the heavens and everything in the earth of moving creatures and the angels, all of them do this particular ... So tell me, how do you believe it? What does it mean to you?
What does that mean to me? It means they also show their submission. One way or the other, whether prostrating. I don't need to know how, dude.
No, but wait. Okay, wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. One second. You said one second. You said show their submission. You said
yes, they show. That's the word. The word.
Okay,
no, wait.
Why? Wait. You gave a caveat without justifying it. Wait. What makes you think they need to show their submission? And when you say show their submission, are you referring to a symbol?
Yes, they have their own symbol. They show God.
So what makes you think they're doing that though? You're just
God just said it. Dude, God just said it by word. This is why I told you, you need to know the meaning of words. You don't just take words and put it context the way you like.
All right.
How can you put words into context you don't know the meaning?
My God. Tell me, how do trees show submission? Tell me. Does God say you can't see how they show submission?
Wait, dude, am I a tree?
No.
How can I know?
But you are saying that trees can show submission. So there has to
be some form. Because God said it. Does that mean God is lying?
No, but you need to justify your understanding of the word prostration here. Because just with the word tree alone, your position is unjustifiable. I'll show you how it's unjustifiable. Listen, I'll show you how it's unjustifiable. Number one, does God say in the Quran that you do not see how they quote unquote show submission? He doesn't say that. So remove that off the table. There is no.
And then where does it say you see? Where does it say you can see it? Tell me.
In the very beginning of the verse, do you not see?
It's you see, you are taking it literally. You see how you are playing with words.
Tell me, what option is there?
The word tara. Yes, the word tara also means consider.
No, in the context. Listen, even if you use the word, listen, hear me out. Even if you use the word consider, Shu'aib, you have to understand with facts, there is no argument. Even if you use the word, listen,
yes,
even if you use the word consider, let's remove the word see. let's bring in the word consider. No problem.
Mhm.
In the same verse, chapter 22, 18. Yeah? Do you not consider? Check this out. I'm going to use the word consider. Do you not consider that to God prostrates whoever or whatever is in the heavens and on the earth, and the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountain, the trees, moving creatures, and many of the people, but many are justly due on him punishment, and whoever humiliates God, then not for him any, and anyone who honors him, indeed God does what he wills. Please listen to this, right? Even if you use the word consider, I cannot consider this particular verse where God is directing, is pointing, is referencing the moon, the suns, the stars, the trees, and many animals, etc. I can't consider that unless I know how they prostrate. I can't consider that. I literally cannot do it. How can I consider it if I don't know what they do?
You see, do you see now what you're doing now? That's why I gave you chapter 13, verse 15. God told you what they do, right? And chapter 16, verse 49, he told you what they do, right? Now, no, he told you, chapter 13, verse 15. I told you to read the verses. You read it, right? Didn't you read it?
13, 15. Okay,
yes, you read it.
15. They submit willingly or unwillingly, and so do their shadows in the morning and in the evenings. Now tell me how that means. Tell me how I understand that according to your narrative of physical.
Of physical what? Are they not physical objects God just mentioned? Are they not physical?
Okay.
No, those objects you meant, okay. Are they not physical?
Okay. Does that mean they physically?
If I'm physical and I want to show you something, must I be non-physical? It's physical still, they show him. But they have their own way of showing. Must I, the human being, understand
that? Does it
what?
say that? Does it
what?
say
it doesn't say what? It doesn't say what?
Does it say they have their own way of doing it and you must not understand how they do it? Does it say that?
Dude. The issue is God wants me to prostrate. He showed me how to prostrate in the Quran. That's me, the human being, right? Now, the argument you are bringing forth is about seeing. I gave you similar example, chapter 2, verse 246, where God told the prophet, do you not see what happened, or do you not consider what happened at the time after the Moses and his brother, the children of Israel, what happened with them? The prophet was not there with them at that time. Was he there?
He's a believer.
Yes. So similarly, do I believe what God is telling me concerning the moon, the sun, and everything? What is your issue?
No, the issue is 13, 15. And so listen, the difference is the verse that you used about the prophet, that's talking to a believer. First and foremost, there's no way around that is talking to a believer. Number one.
So
As for 13, 15, and 22, 18, that does not have to be talking to a believer. In fact, that is talking to someone to convince them to believe.
Show us the context. Why do you say he's talking to somebody else?
Because it's showing you reasons why you should believe.
It's showing who? Tell me by the context. Where does it say he's talking to somebody else other than the prophet who received the book?
I thought we agreed that you can address the prophet, but it's meant for the mankind. Is that not what you said earlier? Or you say
yes? Yes. If it is meant for mankind, why are you limiting to some people saying it's for somebody who doesn't believe in God to be convinced?
No. Because if you're a believer, you don't need to be convinced. This is convincing.
No. A believer still need to be convinced.
What?
Yes.
Try listening to yourself, man.
I'm serious.
If you're a believer, okay, listen. If you're a believer, by definition, you're convinced. You're not a believer if you're not convinced.
No, brother. Chapter 8, verse 5 of the Quran. Even believers can reject the truth.
Oh, but then they're not believers, are they?
They are believers. The Quran mentioned them as believers. Stop confusing yourself.
Believer if you've rejected.
Open the verse. Chapter 8, verse 5 and 6. Check the verse yourself.
You know what? See what? They argue with you concerning the truth after what has become evident. They are driven to death while they look. Did you say 8, 5, and 6?
Yeah.
I just read it.
No, you read one. You didn't read all. Read from 8 and verse 5, verse 6.
Right. As brought you out your Lord from your home in the truth. Indeed, a group among the believers, certainly unwilling, averse. They argue with you concerning the truth after what has become clear evident, as though they are driven to death while they look. Do you know the term a group among the believers doesn't even necessitate that you are a believer?
No, it is. You are a believer.
No. Listen to the sentence. A group among the believers does not even necessitate that you yourself are a believer.
You are a believer.
Because listen, simple language, my brother. If let's say you are a Jew, let's say you're a Jew, and you are amongst a bunch of believers. Are you among the believers?
Well, who are you trying to confuse here? The word among, brother, the word among the believers. He didn't say among the people.
Okay, and I know he's among the believers, meaning the you are surrounded by believers. You tell me, if you were a non-believer, let's say there's a group of you. Let's say there's a group of you, and you live amongst non-believers. Are you a group among the believers? Are you calling someone that would argue with the prophet about the truth? Are you calling that a believer? Because that's what
the Quran did. The Quran just did. Just read the verse.
No, it's you not understanding how language works.
No, it's not. No, it's not about language here. I'm just showing you that you can be of a belief right now. Something can take you out. That is precisely what this verse means.
Yeah, but the moment I'm taken out, I'm not a believer.
But that God never said they are taken out. Did he say they are taken out?
My friend, look at what God says. He says worse than that. He says they argue with you concerning the truth after it has become evident, as though they are driven to death while they look.
Yes, we can argue about an issue. Doesn't mean entirely I'm a disbeliever in you or in what we can argue. Listen,
you're arguing with the messenger of God. How are you a believer?
Yes, it is through them God brought the rules. Listen, it is not at once. The rules came by time in the Quran. Before God told them not to have any choice when God and messenger makes a decision. But here, I just gave you a verse. You just read. Does it say they are hypocrite? Does the verse mention disbelievers or hypocrite there?
I'm willing to accept that on one condition. I'm willing to accept that on one condition.
Okay.
If they were hypocrites, how do you think the sentence would change?
It will say some hypocrites among the believers.
Why do you think that needs to be identified?
Because it's a group which needs to be identified from a particular.
But doesn't the context identify the wrong they do?
Doesn't the context?
Is the wrong they do identified?
Yes, it's identified, but it doesn't necessarily mean that is their end. Are you telling me believers don't make mistakes?
Oh, okay. How about this? I'll meet you halfway. How about at least they are hypocrites?
How about they are hypocrites? If they are on the way to becoming hypocrites, there's a sign they are on the way to becoming hypocrites, but they are not yet. God never said they are hypocrites.
But wait. Is what they did in this verse hypocritical?
Well, if you check the context of the verse, if they know it's the truth, after it is clear, yes, I can say.
Okay, that's what it literally
yes,
says.
Good, but based on you and I, our presumption, we can say yes, that sounds hypocritical because it has become evident to them. The truth became clear to them, but they argued, right? But I'm just showing you the context of the verse. God never mentioned any hypocrite there. Neither does he say among.
But listen, if the context itself says that they being hypocritical, why does he need to identify that they are hypocrites? We're grown-ups, right?
Look, Quran says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ittaqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. Say the right statement, say the correct speech. If God never says black, don't put black there.
Okay, cool. Listen. Oh my God, this is just splitting hairs, right? This is, bro, listen. Please understand. When it comes to language, there are rules. There is nothing subjective.
Oh, so now you are dealing with rules, right? You're dealing with rules, right?
Let me finish. Please let me finish. Listen, hear what I'm saying to you. There are rules. There is nothing subjective about it whatsoever. Notice, Shu'aib, I have never, throughout our conversation, I've never just hung on the definition of a word and insisted this is what it means. I don't need to do that, because what you do is, regardless of what you claim a word means, you have to put it in a context. And the moment you put that word in a context, that context will make it evident that this word, at minimum, even if it doesn't mean this per se, at minimum, it will show that this verse can be made, this word can be made to mean this, depending on the context, at minimum. So the context will always resolve the issue. This is why throughout our conversation today, at no point have I been concerned about the definition of a word. Now, for instance, now hear me out. Now, for instance, in this particular verse that you brought up about a group among the believers, guess what? I actually accept your interpretation, which is that they are believers themselves and they are among the believers. I accept that. I don't have a problem. However, the same applies. Listen to this. The same applies if they are disbelievers and they are simply amongst the believers, because the way you would structure the sentence would literally be the same. It would be no different. You understand?
Yeah.
So
I understand.
Hear me out. So what I did was I tried to meet you halfway. So let's say your interpretation is correct and my interpretation is possible. So there is a middle ground that nobody can dispute. And that is, at minimum, what they are doing is hypocritical. That much cannot be disputed.
No, yes, I agree. I agree.
What they're doing is hypocritical. That much can't be disputed. Now, when you do something hypocritical, at least, at the very minimum, you are a hypocrite at that time. At minimum, you're a hypocrite at the time when you are doing something hypocritical. So in this particular verse, it's definitely talking about hypocrites.
They did something hypocritical, I'll say. I wouldn't call them hypocrite because God never did.
No, at that time.
That's what I want to do. No, they did at that time, yes. If you say at that time, I agree.
That's what I said. At that particular time, when they are
good, I agree. I agree.
They are
100%. 100%, I agree with you. At that particular time, you understand. But anyways, brother, interruption came in when we were about to get in deep.
No.
But my time is up. And
so is mine, bro. I think we might have to do a part 2 show.
Yeah, I guess we started late. That's why, probably.
Yeah. But sure,
we started late.
Before you leave, I need to leave you with this one. And that is that what I have said is justified by every single context in the Quran. Every single context in the Quran, Sajda is justifiably submission. Every single context. As a matter of fact, let me go further. Even if you insist that even if you insist that sajda is a symbol whereby you physically collapse, thereby showing your submission, even if you insist on that, that is not divorced of submission. It's still not divorced of submission. So you can never get rid of submission. Never. So when I say
Of course.
you, so when I say to you that every single occurrence of the word sajda in the Quran, it means submission, that's at minimum. At minimum, that's justified. The only argument one can make is to say, yes, it is submission, but it's also done in the form of showing the symbol of submission. That is the only argument one can make. So that is not an argument. So well, let me finish. Let me finish. So that is not an argument against me. That is an additional argument that someone is insisting. So the burden of proof is upon the individual to now show that these occurrences in the Quran are not simply just submitting to what they have been told, but it's also showing the actual symbol of submitting. So the burden of proof is entirely away from my side. Nothing, like, completely yours.
No, of course. What you said is okay. I agree with you. Showing the submission is 100% okay. You understand that the point of the act of how it is done, that is the main issue of discussion here. So the sign of prostration, like I said, I agree with you on when you say submission. Of course, prostration also means submission if you prostrate. But then what I was trying to
before you go, let me just quickly tell you this.
Yeah.
Before you go, the thing is, whether it's, notice I've mentioned two things to you, Shaib. I've mentioned two things to you in the beginning, and these are my two things, and this is why, honestly, it will be very hard to argue against this, which is, number one, I focus on the theme of the Quran, and number two, I focus on the context that these particular words in question are found in. So what we have done today is we have discussed the context. Now, I contend that there is no particular context where anybody can argue that this must mean a physical prostration. That's what I contend. But I will go beyond that. And what I will say beyond that is that people have to understand that to have physical prostration, you have to have an object that you prostrate before. To have physical prostration, you have to have an object that you physically prostrate before. This is why the traditionalists have the Kaaba, because that is the object that they physically prostrate before. You understand? So number one, you have to have an object. Number two, when we consider the theme of the Quran, the theme of the Quran is never concerned about a place, about a thing, about particular people, about particular action. Nowhere in the Quran can anyone argue that the Quran is concerned about material things of any kind. That includes physical movements. No one can argue that the Quran is concerned about that. However, what no one can ignore is that the Quran is two things: warning and glad tidings. And both of those require submission. They don't require physical prostration, but what they require is submission. You have not understood the warning nor the glad tidings unless you submit to it. So bearing in mind the theme of the Quran being concerned about warning and glad tidings and commandments to live by, all of those things require submission. None of those things require a physical act of prostration. None of those things. So there is nothing in the theme of the Quran that would suggest that it's talking about a physical prostration, nor is there nothing in the context, in all of the context that this particular word is found in, that would suggest that is referring to a physical prostration. So in a nutshell, words have to be determined by the context and the theme, which is basically the subject, the topic, what the Quran is about. If it is not justified by what the Quran is about, nor the context, it's unjustifiable. So I think
yeah. So anyways, thank you for your time. Well, what I will do is next time we will arrange the topic, and then this time I'm going to prove to you that there's actually a physical prostration done by human beings in the Quran. We are going to analyze the context, and we are going to analyze whatever have you. But mind you, like I said, just because the word sajda can mean showing submission doesn't mean there is no physical act of prostration in the Quran. And I'm going to prove that. And based on that, remember, like I said, the theme of the Quran, it is not only about the Quran. It is what the Quran confirms from the previous scripture. Bear that in mind. Because Quran chapter 2, you read to verse 5. Chapter 2, verse 2, you read to verse 5. There is no way you can be on the guidance if you don't believe in what the Quran confirms from the previous scriptures. It's impossible. Quran chapter 2, verse 2 to verse 5. If you don't believe in what the Quran confirms in the previous scriptures, there is no way you are upon the guidance. Because then you'll be using words out of context.
Are you implying that we should find what the word means in outside of the Quran?
No. I never said that.
Okay, because I don't think you need to say what you just said.
Actually, chapter 41 of the Quran, verse 43, God says nothing was said to this messenger except what was said to the messengers before.
Okay.
Do you get my point? Nothing was said to this messenger.
We don't need to go outside of the Quran, then, do we?
You can. If there is a doubt. If there is a doubt, you can.
No, there's a difference between can and need. You can do anything.
Right now, we are dealing with an issue of doubt. True or false?
False.
Oh.
False.
We are dealing with an issue. There is a prostration. I said there's a physical prostration. You said no.
No. But it's not up to what either you or I say. It's up to what can be justified from the Quran.
And I say still is the issue of doubt, because if we don't agree on certain things,
if we have the Quran,
why would we? Okay, why wouldn't be a doubt if Quran cannot confirm anything in the past?
Where did you get the idea that the Quran does not confirm anything in the past?
It has to confirm
to
eliminate doubt.
It does.
Okay, so we can go to the previous scriptures to check what it confirms, true or false.
But hold on, what it confirms is found in the Quran. You don't know what is intact in the previous scriptures.
Still, you can go and confirm, because it tells you clearly some things. He tells you, if you don't know, ask them. Did he say that or not?
No, it's
chapter 16, verse 43.
I know the verse you're referring to.
Chapter 16. Good. Chapter 16, verse 43. It says, you should ask them if you do not know, right? Concerning messengers, right?
Right. It's very specific. It's referring to the fact that it was men who were sent previously to confirm that.
As messengers.
That's good.
Apart from that,
nothing else.
Good. Apart from that, chapter 10, verse 94. If you have a doubt. Chapter 10, verse 94. Nalilo karbi lasi kije kiaje. Nalilo karbi. Kije kiaje bin lasi. Do karbi. Zo karbi. But anyways, brother, my time is actually really up, because 2 hours is over.
No problem.
You know, let's rearrange. Maybe next week, inshallah, we find a time, put it, and this time we sort out the problem. So maybe we can do the same thing again. If I don't solve my problem out, we can use yours, and then we do the streaming again.
This is pretty easy, straightforward.
Yeah. So we use it this same way. Then the next week it will be more focused on me. and to clarify my stance as the, why I said there's prostration also in the Quran. And we'll just stick to that. After that, then we find a different topic. I think it will be beneficial for most of the people, viewers and audience watching, to kind of understand more. But sorry for the video viewers concerning the interruption, because the time I gave to the family is way over. So I apologize for the inconvenience. So yes, brother, like I said, it was nice talking to you. It's good to always discuss issues.
I'm sure
there is no way you can exactly. There is no way you can find the truth without bringing it to the table of discussion. You have to get it challenged, get it discussed, you understand, so people can see the do's and don'ts and contradictions and whatever have you. So I appreciate the time and support of everybody, and hopefully we get to see again and talk about relevant issues concerning Islam, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yes, so brother,
inshallah. Continue watching the channel, though.
Yeah.
Continue watching the channel, though, if you can. Because
no problem.
I'm gonna invite. I'm gonna invite people watching for a couple of minutes.
Okay. No problem. So I'll keep up. Yeah. Peace.
All right. Peace, man. It's been a pleasure. All right, people. I'm gonna throw you lot the invite, but please understand this. Please understand this. Don't try to keep me here forever. 20 minutes and I'm out of here. Don't try to keep me here, please. All right, you can all join now. The link is there. Bloody hell. The link is there, people. Jump on. 20 minutes and I'm out of here. Allow this camera, goddammit. Lemming's in the house.
Hello, brother.
Peace, Lemming. What's happening?
It's okay. Doing okay.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I
enjoy the convo.
to say the discussion was interesting today.
Yeah.
Although it was also a little bit heated, I have to admit. Also,
Nah, it's not heated. It's passion. It's an African thing.
no, okay, if you say that, but yeah, sometimes even passion can also overcome rationality. But still, though, this whole thing was quite interesting, I have to say. Although I don't know if the whole wording thing and all that. Honestly, we just see the context and what the Arabic text says. I think it would clearly said things. Also, of course, the context, like I said. Oh, but
wow. 1 second, we've got someone new here. Peace. How you doing, my friend?
Good. I just was listening to the conversation. It was very interesting, and I just wanted to say, like, as far as like, it's good to see, like, that the community of people who follow only the Quran is growing. Because like I just found this out maybe like three years ago, and I thought I was like the only one in the world. So it's like it's good to see.
It's good to see.
Well, let him go. Let him go.
Sorry.
Let him go. Go on.
But yeah, I was definitely it's definitely good to see that, man.
Yeah. What do you call yourself, bro? Nafis?
Nafis.
Oh, Nafis. All right, cool.
Yeah.
The Arabic, I know what that means. So you're from the States?
Say that again?
You're from the States?
Yeah, I'm from the United States, yeah.
Right. So you enjoyed the conversation?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
Give us your take on this particular topic.
As far as like where it was going as physical or non-physical prostration, I do agree with you. I don't believe that it's physical because I come from a Sunni background, and I was growing up on hadiths and prostrating 5 times a day and all that. But I realized that it doesn't really benefit you if you just physically prostrate compared to, let's say, I obey the Quran and follow everything Allah is saying. You get what I'm saying?
Precisely.
If I physically prostrate, and you got to keep in mind that, all right, I'm physically prostrating, but now let's keep in mind the direction of prayer. Okay, so am I physically prostrating this way? I'm physically prostrate in that way. So you gotta keep that in mind too. And then that kind of like brings in that practice of idolatry. I take it in that way because, all right, if I'm physically prostrate and it's like, all right, what direction? 9 times out of 10, a lot of people, they're going to physically prostrate towards the Kaaba. And that's idol worship. But if you just look at it from a standpoint of, okay, you got the Quran, you reading the Quran, you studying the Quran, trying to learn as much as you can, spreading the message, then what harm is that?
Hello?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm here.
Correct. I mean, that's precisely that. But see, that's taking the logical route. And a lot of people, when it comes to, trying to reason with them, they'll have their own idea of what is reasonable. So what I do now, what I've been doing lately, is instead of being particularly hung up on a particular word, or even being hung up on insisting that a word means this and that, or whatever, I just focus on the context. Because fact of the matter remains, and this is what I'm trying to get people to understand. There is no way in hell that a word cannot be determined by the context. Because if a word is not determined by the context, and a word can be in a context, and a word can have completely different meaning, can be completely divorced from what the context is talking about, then we literally won't be able to communicate. We literally won't be able to communicate. It's like we're discussing a particular thing, and I just throw in random words: tennis, football, a car. What's that got to do with our conversation? Do you see what I mean? So
and then it's like
impossible to ignore
it's
the
almost
context.
it's almost like baggage in a way, because like when I first found out, I realized, okay, I seen that it was like 3 prayers. So I'm thinking it was 3 salats that we had to physically prostrate. So I ended up going to the masjid, trying to address the imam about it, and they kicked me out of the masjid. But what I realized is baggage, you know what I mean? Because we grew up in a traditional society. So it's like, okay, once you start breaking away, you got the little bit of baggage, so you're trying to shake it off. But it's like people just not trying to let go of that idea of like having that physical prostration instead of just reading it, like you said, in context, because the context is just going to give the answer in itself.
Exactly.
That's the point here. That's the point people are not understanding. This is not a matter of whatever position that you hold. This is what people don't understand. It doesn't matter the particular position you hold. It doesn't even matter if you're a believer or not. This is simply about reading. There's rules to reading. Do you see what I mean? Like, you cannot say, do you not see the sun, the moon, the trees, etc., prostrating, if it's not something that you can conceive of? Tell me how I could say that. But furthermore, change the content. Give me whatever content you want and say, do you not see? And it's something that I can't see. Go ahead. It doesn't work.
Right, because if Allah said, "Do you not see?" then because he wants you to look to see.
Exactly.
He wants you to perceive. He wants you to perceive.
The whole reason you say to someone, "Do you not see?" or even if you say, "Do you not consider?" because I think that's one of the words he thought of. Do you not consider? Do you not realize? I can't use those 3 words if it's not something that is tangible for you to consider or realize or see.
Just one small thing. What about perceive? Perceive, does it work also?
Yeah, or even perceive.
Because that's what tara means, to perceive, mentally and physically.
Even that, I can't say that to you. Even that, I can't say that to you if it's beyond your perception.
Yeah.
How do you?
He wants us to perceive.
Right, because when you talk about like the trees, like I have trees right now. I can't say they prostrating, but I can't say they obey Allah or they're humbly submissive to Allah. I can see that, but
yeah, they're following laws.
Prostrating.
Yeah, they're following laws. So you can check this out. This is what amazes me as well.
Facts, though. Yeah.
This is what amazes me as well. You can see the stars, the sun, the moon, the trees, the animals, and some people. Notice you got how he uses the word some people. You can see all of that submitting to the laws of God. That's something you can literally, demonstrably verify. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have something that's demonstrably verifiable, and God is telling you about something that is demonstrably verifiable, or else he would not say, do you not realize, etc. Do you get it? So clearly he's telling you about something that's demonstrably verifiable. So what you're doing is you're like, oh, God is telling me about something demonstrably verifiable. There is something that is demonstrably verifiable. However, I'm just going to assume that God is talking about something that is not verifiable. Do you see what's happening? Do you see what's happening?
Yeah.
But that's what people are doing.
Well,
that's literally what people are doing.
You shouldn't have to assume. Like if he's saying do you not see, then okay, look. You know what I mean? Give us eyes for a reason. So look. So but like your eyes not gonna lie to you, man. It's like, I mean, it's not like they not physically prostrating.
The term do you not see itself. The term do you not see itself is something verifiable.
Right.
Because if it's not verifiable, it's not something that you can perceive. It's not something that you can see. You can't do anything to it if it's not verifiable. So God literally wouldn't say, do you not see, realize, perceive? He wouldn't use those words. Do you see what I mean? I mean, the same thing applies to, and a lot of people think this is a trump card. When he mentioned the angels prostrating to Adam.
Actually, it says submitting to Adam. You prostrate towards something.
I agree with you, but that submitting to Adam is something that is verifiable. That's if you believe in God, that is, and in the Quran. Because in the Quran and in the Quran, God tells you how angels do for us for the sake of God. You get it? Like they fight by our side if we are, steadfast and etc. You know what I mean? They bring us messages from God. You get it? Angels are for us. They're not our enemies. You get it? That's something verifiable. However, the Satan is the opposite to that. You get it? He's our enemy. He doesn't submit to us at all. If anything, he tries to get us to destroy our lives. You get it? So those two things are verifiable. You have things that are verifiable, for crying out loud. And you're going, forget the verifiable thing. Let me just picture this idea of angels physically prostrating to Adam. What's that about?
And how is that beneficial as well?
Yeah, well, what does that even mean? What on earth? The only meaning that can have is we are greater than the angels.
Yeah, that's how I would take it if you're saying physically prostrate.
Yeah, what else can it mean? Do you see what I mean? However, again, there's something verifiable there, again, that people ignore. They got a command from God, right? So what happens when you get a command from God?
You have to obey.
In other words, you submit.
Yep, submit.
There you go. Look, direct. Command, submit. You don't go command, physical prostration. Why assume that?
No, it wouldn't fit in, actually, honestly.
Why assume that? What follows a command? Two things, submission or rejection.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, brother.
People need to understand that when you are talking about physical prostration, there's another one that I nearly forgot. Two things I'm going to give you guys quickly. When you are talking about physical prostration, that doesn't actually necessarily prove submission at all. However, what it does prove is adoration, that you adore something. This is why all the pagans, they have their particular object of worship. You understand? And hence they bow down to it because they adore said thing. You understand? They're showing their adoration. Do you see what I'm saying to you? Now, another proof that the word sajda, as a matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of two things here. Another proof that the word sajda can have nothing to do with physical prostration. Neither can the word ibadah have anything to do with worship. And I'll prove that by speaking of two particular societies. Two particular societies proves that without any argument. Number one, the followers of Moses. When the followers of Moses, when Moses left them, and they started worshiping what? They started worshiping the calf, right?
Yeah, the yellow heifer. Yeah.
All right. Now check this out. They started worshiping the calf. What does worshiping the calf involve?
Doing, I think, rituals, was it, right?
It would have to involve some physical act, wouldn't it? What else would prove?
Yeah.
What else would prove that they worship this idol unless it's a physical act?
Correct.
Are you guys with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
With pagans, they have to have rituals because that is the only way that they prove their adoration, because they don't have commands coming from rocks and stuff, do they?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying to you? So they instead they show their adoration. You get it, yeah?
Right, because the calf, it wasn't like the calf was like saying something back to them. So
what verse are you talking about? What verse are you
I'll
talking
get
about?
into the verse in a second.
Oh, okay.
Now here's the interesting thing. If the word sajda had anything to do with a physical prostration, or the word ibadah had anything to do with the word worship, there are two occurrences in the Quran that I can think of where the words should have been used like absolutely. They definitely should have been used in these two particular scenarios if these words mean what people tell us they mean. So number one, when it comes to the followers of Moses, when they worshipped the calf, please go to chapter 293. The word used is neither ibadah nor is it sajda. And there is no way you can justify that if those two words mean worship and physical prostration.
93, right?
Yeah.
293.
That's just
no.
example.
Surah 2, verse 93, Nafis, is that?
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. And they... What word are we looking for? Sorry, brother.
They took the calf.
Oh, they took.
Yeah, it does not say they worshipped. You see that? Look at the Arabic. It does not say ibadah, nor does it say anywhere that they have physically prostrated. And you can never justify that if these words have anything to do with physical actions. It should have been used there.
Yeah, it says wa ushribu wa ushribu fi qulubuhim al-ijla. Yeah.
Ittakhidhu. Wait. Let me.
Maybe I was looking at wrong. I'm sorry.
1 second. Let me go there again.
Look at. Maybe you got the wrong verse. Sorry. Oh yeah. It's 92. It's the verse before.
Oh, it's 92. Okay.
Oh, it's 92. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah. It says. Yeah. Ittakhidhu al-ijla.
See that?
Took the calf after him. Yeah. It took
now listen to this. Now listen to this. Since we are talking about, we all know that they worship the calf, right? There's no argument. When it says they took the calf, it can only mean worship, right?
Yeah, they took it.
Now, if the word ibadah had anything to do with worship, and if the word sajda had anything to do with physical prostration, is there any chance it wouldn't be in this verse?
No,
Give me an excuse for why it wouldn't be in this verse. If these words mean what they tell us they mean. Do you see my point?
Yeah.
Because if they worship the calf, then put the word ibadah there, then in it. Because that's what you guys said it means, right? Right? And how else could they have worshipped their calf if they didn't physically prostrate? So they would have had to, right?
You know, what's funny thing is some of the translators I'm looking at right now, they translated ittakhidhu as worship, That's kind of odd, I have to say.
No, they all translated ittakhidhu as worship because the context necessitates that that's what it's talking about.
Yeah.
So they had no choice.
They had to mistranslate.
They had to
scummy.
do it.
That's scummy.
So
That's scummy.
Let me give you another example. The same applies to Abraham and his people. We all know they worship statues, right?
Ibrahim, yeah, Ibrahim's people.
Ibrahim's people, with the community he came from. They worship statues, right? Idols and shit. Nowhere it does not use the word ibadah, nor does it use the word sajda. So there's no excuse to say that it has anything to do with physical. Huh?
Wow.
What verse can we check it for?
I can't remember the Abraham verse, but I know you're good at that stuff. Go on, bring it.
Let me see if I can. I think you are talking about Surah 26, verse 70 to. Surah 26, verse 70. The word, actually, the word is.
You said 26, verse 70?
Yeah, it says tabudu. I think that's different though, Maverick.
What verse are you looking at?
Surah 26, verse 70.
26, verse 70. 1 second.
Yeah, it says
We're saying
the word.
when he asked his father and his people, "What do you worship?" Surah 26, verse 70. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it says na'budu. That's what.
No, but this is Abraham asking that question, and this is Abraham talking about what he will not do. I'm asking you, when they worshipped the so-called idols, does it use the word worship? Does it use the word ibadah for them?
No, it says tabaduna. That's different.
No, that's still ibadah, bro.
Oh, okay.
Ta'buduna is still ibadah. But you're talking that verse is talking about what Abraham said to them. I'm not concerned about what Abraham said to them. I'm concerned about what they did.
Yeah, they said, the verse after said, I'm so sorry if I get this wrong, brother. They said, قالوا نعبد أصناما فانثالوا لها عاكفين.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
He said that's still Abraham. Let's go to what they say.
That's why I said قالوا. قالوا. It's third person masculine plural. He's talking to. This is the response of Ibrahim's father and his people.
Yeah, find the verse that's talking about their responses, not the responses of Abraham.
So them speaking.
Yeah, them speaking. When they speak, the word ittakhidhu is used with them as well.
Maybe I have to look at another verse, because it is qalu means it's sorry. Qalu is third person masculine plural, but I'll check out other verse then. I'll check out a verse. Maybe maybe I must have missed something important. I'm so sorry, brother, if I missed it.
So yeah, as I was saying, the argument is very simple. The point is, the theme of the Quran does not allow this idea of physical actions, physical rituals and symbols, nor does any particular context suggest that is what it's referring to. And the third point is, to be honest with you, the hadithists are actually in a better position than the people who say they only follow the Quran and make this suggestion, because the hadithists at least understand that to physically prostrate, you need an object to prostrate to. So the so-called
pretty much an idol.
Yeah. So the Quran only Muslims who insist that there is a physical prostration, they need to make themselves an idol to prostrate towards. Because physical prostration necessitates that there is something you prostrate before.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a verse. You said took their idols, right?
Yeah, you cannot physically prostrate before God, because where is God, for crying out loud? How do
He's everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I mean, how do you can't put him in an image, innit? Can't say this is where.
He is
You
at
can't
his
limit God in any way. So how do you do it?
he has it in his dominion, and of course at the same time everywhere and closer to our jugular vein. He's everywhere. He can do everything, man.
Not only that, people need to understand what the symbol is for. Really and truly, the physical symbol of prostration can only be applied to another human being or an idol or whatever. Let me tell you why. Because the purpose of the reason why it's a symbol of submission is because you're in a disadvantageous position, because you're facing down. Because you're facing down and you have another human being, namely the king or the chief or whatever, in front of you, they are in an advantageous position. So you're basically saying, look, I have surrendered. You can cut my neck off.
Brother, I found the verse.
That's literally why it's a symbol.
But I found the verse.
And that symbol cannot be applied to God, because God don't need you to be any particular way physically in order for you to be vulnerable. So it doesn't work.
But I found the verse, by the way, brother. Surah 6, verse 74. 74. Sorry. Surah 6.
674.
6, yeah, 674. It says, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ مُولِي أَبِي الزَّرَى أَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's right there. This is the verse you're talking about.
Yep.
This is the verse you're talking about.
There you go. There you go. So well, check this out. This much we know for a fact. We know that these pagans worshipped these statues, these idols. So if we are going to use the same word, worship to God, then we are basically talking about the same thing that they are, which is to take something in adoration. Is that what we're doing? We're taking God in adoration. Is that what we're doing? Because that's what these pagans are doing.
You take adoration.
Yeah, it's an adoration. What else are they taking this particular idol for? And unless it's to adore it and go, ooh, look at this, ooh. What are they taking it for?
Adoration, man.
What else is there? Do you see what I mean?
To even think about it, that's actually kind of disturbing if you think about it.
This is why really and truly you shouldn't call the Islam a religion, because religion, all religions have these things that they take in adoration. We don't.
Yeah, even atheists sometimes do that.
Jews, check this out. Starting from the Jews, they take their lineage in adoration. Christians, they take Jesus in adoration. Sunnis, they take Muhammad in adoration. The Sikhs, they take their gurus and their hats and whatnot in adoration. The Hindus, the Hindus, they take their traditions in adoration. The atheists, they take their insanity. Anything goes.
Even their humans, even their human idols.
Humanists, they take human beings in adoration. We are the only sane ones on the block.
Yeah, that's in fact somewhat the same if you think about it.
So how are we comparing ourselves to them? Who do we take in
That'll
adoration?
put us in the same boat, pretty much.
Yeah, that is actually, if you think about it, it's kind of disturbing. It's actually a bit disturbing if you think about it. Very disturbing.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying, lads?
Yeah. SubhanAllah, it's like I said again, disturbing to think about it.
Wow.
Yeah, when you connect the dots, the things got more clear, and then you say, "How can I not seen it? It was literally right in front of me. It was so clear."
Guys, I'll be back. You guys
So
continue
clear.
having the discussion. Yeah.
So clear and vivid.
Yeah. It's quite also, but anyway, it's good to see our siblings in America and other countries growing all that, and this is about seeking the truth. This isn't about a tradition, and this isn't about some identity or anything like. No, this is about the truth, and we should work together to seeking out it. And of course, there's going to be some hurdles and bricks and all that, but we have to deal with this righteously, of course. And unfortunately, I see our siblings right now fighting over each other about this topic, and it actually breaks my heart. Really breaks my heart.
Yeah, because like this is something like very serious, like, and that the simple fact that Allah, guided me to the truth and showed me the truth, like that's worth more than anything the world can offer. You get what I'm saying? Like,
you know, and
it's something you ain't have to buy. It's something you can have to buy or, you know, be a prestigious scholar to attain. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely something that's very important and something that should be taken serious. And it does break, you know, my heart as well. Like, because when I first found out, you know, I was excited to tell my family members. Like, when I first started finding out about where Allah mentioned about, he mentions frivolous hadith, where he say, which hadith after this Quran will you believe? I see that. I was like, whoa, like, so it made me want to go run and show my family and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, they're going to accept. Like, I mean, it's the Quran. Why wouldn't they accept? And then you see that they don't accept and they don't listen and they're not obeying it. Then it's like, man, when I first found out, I was crying and everything.
Yeah, there is like going deaf and all that. They deaf and dumb and blind. Sorry if that sounds offensive to your family, about your family.
No. That's true though. That's what Allah call it. That's what Allah call it. Cause like yeah, bring the proof to him. You had a Quran in here. Yeah, show him the proof, and you be like, do you see it? Do you see it? It's right here. It's right here, and they don't see it. It's like wow. It's so hard to explain. It's so hard to explain, man.
He wants to make the things. Allah makes it simple. We made it hard. I mean, it's very saddening. In fact, Allah also said to us, do not grieve for them. We should not even grieve for them.
Yeah.
They chose to do so, being like this. They put themselves into that. I mean, you show them clear verses, and yet they say no and all that. That's not a good sign. But that's on them, not on you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a verse.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yes, it is deep. Even if it hurts as well. This isn't about giving you what you want. This is what you need to know. Okay? Allah doesn't care what you want. Allah cares what you need. Okay? Even things you don't want is needed as well.
I know.
Oh. Everything all right?
Right, because it's like okay, if you're going against it, it's like going against yourself as well. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, Allah says
everything Allah.
People. Sorry. No. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, everything Allah puts forth for us is easy. It's not even hard. It's not even hard at all. It's like you're making it difficult on yourself.
Yeah, Allah says people don't. Allah did not wrong you. We wronged ourselves. I mean, why should we?
I wasn't muted.
No, you weren't muted. You were talking to someone. Anyway, it's a bit disturbing why people make things hard about what things is easy. You know, Allah says, do this and you'll do good. Do good works. Believe in do good works. Reflect and all that. You know that, all that.
They want divisions, isn't it? They want divisions. They want followers, and then they want to use followers against other followers.
Exactly.
That's the whole purpose of organized religion. It's literally to go us v them. It's a political tool. It's just another way to get into a society or a community who you differ with ethnically and linguistically. So let's say it's difficult for you to have access to a particular community because that particular community, they are of a different ethnicity to you, they're a different language to you, different culture to you, etc. The only way you can break that barrier is religion. So it's a political tool, because if you and I, let's say you and I are two different ethnicities, we even live in completely different lands and etc. However, because we share the same religion, and we have the same identity markers, rituals and symbols, you are now put in a position where you have to decide which identity comes first. Does your religious identity come first, or does your national or ethnic identity come first? And because religion is so powerful,
strong,
so powerful, that will trump the ethnic identity. Do you see what I mean? And what that and the moment that happens, that allows me access to your society as though I was part of your society.
So basically all these scholars is basically using, trying to use the Quran, but pitting their own spin to it to control the masses pretty much.
They
Because
use the Quran only for bait and switch. Literally,
okay,
it's just to bring you in. The moment you're in, I promise you, the Quran is completely forgotten about. It becomes
Surah,
completely about hadith.
yeah, Surah 25 verse 30. Oh my Lord, my people have abandoned this Quran. Still rings true today. It still rings true today, and that is something not good. Okay, that is not good for our siblings there.
yeah, that's sad.
Sad and
but true.
disturbing.
Sad but true.
It's a simple universal message, and you got to understand, politically, a universal message is not necessarily good, because you need to convince your people that they are different from those people. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you have the same universal principles, it'll be very hard to have you go against those people, because morality will be number one for you. You see what I mean?
Definitely.
So I'm telling you, the only reason people don't like the Quran is because A, it's too universal. There is no label. There is no organized religion. And what's it called?
It's very simple.
It's very simple. And there is no clergy. That you can't use it to control people. So it's literally the antithesis of what the elite want.
Yeah, apparently the elite doesn't like.
Elite doesn't like that. People going, oh, look, if everyone was moral, how the hell am I elite?
Ain't no elite.
Right.
Think about it. If everyone's moral, then what happens to
we
my
on the
elite
same
guy?
level plane.
There you go. I ain't about to be same level playing with you. Who the hell is you? I'm so and so. You know what I mean?
So like when y'all first came across this, because I'm new to the channel, when y'all first came across the truth about the Quran, did y'all like have the urge to go tell your family and everything, and like how did it play out?
I did actually. It played okay actually. My family wasn't exactly against it. They were actually a bit happy that I studied the Quran more. Alhamdulillah. My family is of course Shia. I'm from Shia background, not Sunni.
Okay.
But my mother is Quran centric.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I'm of Shia background.
I'm joking. A lot of people, think of ghosts when they hear Shia.
Okay.
No, because I'm telling you, the Sunni propaganda is heavy against Shia.
Oh yeah. It's very heavy. It's like a war. They say, that.
Oh my God.
And there's even fighting between Sunnis, if I remember correctly, as well. There's different sects within Sunnism. SubhanAllah.
Yeah, it was almost like a natural, instinctual thing. Once you find out the truth, you automatically want to, say it, to the people or anyone close to you. That's why, I do get the part where Allah say, "Do not hesitate your tongue to make." I can't.
I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? Like until it's made known to you. So it's like I understand that. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, you want to make sure you know what you're saying, so that way when you go to them, it's very precise.
Yeah. They'll bully you. Look, the only tactics they have, this is what I realized. They've got one or two tactics. Literally only two. Either A, they'll try and bully you and caricature you and blah, blah, blah. They'll do anything to dismiss you to avoid having to actually deal with the subject. So that's their primary tool that they like to go for. The second one is to basically claim authority over you and say, look, I speak Arabic, you don't. Therefore, I will dictate the definition of the word to you willy-nilly. I don't even have to substantiate the claim that I make, because I am so-and-so and you are just this guy who doesn't understand Arabic. Therefore, you have to listen to what I say. Those are the only two tactics they have. Literally, the moment you avoid ad hominems and personal attacks, and the moment you say, look, you can have these words and claim they mean whatever you claim they mean, but how come that's not justified through the context that this word is found in? The moment you say through the context that this word is found in, appeals to mystical, magical Arabic goes out the window, because now it's about the context. So if you're going to still scream Arabic, 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 you're going to have to change the entire context, my friend. As long as the rest of the context is what it is, and you have this particular word which you claim means this and that, then, my friend, it has to be justified by the context, and screaming Arabic is not going to help you anymore. That's it. And they're done. Zero arguments.
The crazy part is they don't even have a book in their hand when they actually trying to argue with you. Like, they don't even have something to refer to as far as source. You get what I mean? They just come with an argument. Like, I'll have the ayats ready. I'll have the Quran ready, but they won't have nothing in their hand. So it's like, it's crazy.
They will never dare to use the Quran. That's another thing. They will literally never yet dare to use the Quran. As a matter of fact, I realized something more than that. Not only do they not dare to use the Quran when debating with you, but they won't even dare to use the Quran even in their own sermons, because they know, honestly, they know that what's in the Quran is an entirely different narrative than what's in their hadith. So that's precisely why they don't even bother quoting the Quran to in their sermons. They might just use a sentence and then waffle on about what that sentence means, but they will never give a sermon based on the Quran, because the moment they do, people have a completely different picture than what they are told.
Yeah, and like for example, they make a sermon about how the Prophet said without even mentioning the Quran. This is very
I'm
mad.
telling you, they literally have zero use for the Quran outside of reciting it in this melodic form and claiming
like a song.
like a song, basically.
I do think it's a little bit beautiful, but we should read and recite and write.
And claiming they need to recite it when they are so-called praying. Outside of those two, you will never see them using the Quran. Prove me wrong.
Especially like when I was into that traditional Sunni phase, like when I used to go to the masjid, like that in the beginning they'll recite maybe the Al-Fatiha and a verse, but then it's just straight hadith throughout. That's the trick. That's definitely, man.
That's the trick.
Using the words of Allah and then, well, put it aside and using words of man. Doesn't fit well, man.
Using the words of Allah to suck you in, and then once they got you, then they throw
they throw in the yeah, exactly. I was a little bit afraid to see that because I fear Allah, but yeah, I can understand what you. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, they drag you in.
Yo, Nafis.
Yes.
Our brother Dan is asking for you to give your story. Like, were you born a Sunni? Were you kidnapped into Sunnism? How did it happen?
I was born a Sunni. My dad, my mom,
just like the rest
we
of
all.
us.
Yeah, basically, I grew up on it, and I grew up on it, and I didn't really do my research. I just was taught to memorize the Al-Fatiha. Okay, now memorize this ayat. It was you got bragging rights the more ayats you can memorize or something like that. But it wasn't till one day I was in my grandma's house, and I don't know how I had this feeling, but I had this feeling inside where I was like, "Oh Lord, guide me." But I wasn't saying it from a ritual standpoint of reciting Al-Fatiha. It was more sincere, like, yeah, it was more sincere, like, "Oh Lord, please guide me." And I was crying in my grandma's room, but it wasn't around nobody. It was just by myself. And then all of a sudden, I had went to my dad's house, and I walked in, and he was on a computer. He was like, Nafis, that Allah say, which hadith after these ayats will you believe? And that sparked my interest. So once we started right there, everything changed. But at first we thought it was just me and him because everyone around us was Sunnis. So when I first found out, like I automatically had that urge to go tell my family, go to the masjid. I went to the masjid, they kicked me out the masjid. So it was like, that's when I was like, wow. That's when I started learning more and more and more. And I realized that, you know, you got to be sincere. If you want Allah to guide you, you got to be sincere. You can't come from like the ritual aspect of it,
100%.
saying,
Yeah.
you know, Al-Fatiha over and over. It doesn't work like that.
100%.
Yeah, Allah answered your prayer, man. He answered your sincere prayer, man. He answered your
Yes,
dua.
he
He showed you.
Pull up
And I
42.
didn't. It wasn't a
Pull up
stand by
42,
prostrate
52.
neither.
No,
Pull up 42:52.
Well,
That was your answer.
42:52.
Yeah, that's your answer to Fatiha.
And thus we inspired you to a revelation of our command. You did not know what was the book, nor what was faith. Yet we made this a light to guide whoever we wish from among our servants. So surely you guide to a straight path.
See that?
Wow. Yeah.
That verse is the answer to Al-Fatiha. So Al-Fatiha, people were asking for guidance. The Quran was the response.
So, like from a traditional standpoint, people looking at it as in, oh, we just keep saying it in a ritual aspect. But as far as the Muslims, we actually sincerely calling on Allah, not on a stand by prostrate recite the Al-Fatiha. And then it's like once I got it, it's not like I'm still asking for it. I got it, so I'm not even asking for it no more. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm guided. So like once you guided, you ain't gotta keep asking, oh Lord, guide me, guide me. If He guided you, then it's like,
That's the point. That's the point. That's the point people are struggling to understand. This verse specifically says that God guides with it. With it. This revelation here. You see what I'm saying? And He says, surely you are guiding to the straight path.
Yeah.
So so the Quran is what God uses to guide with, and it's the Quran is what the messenger uses to invite to the straight path. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So the only way you could continue still ask to be guided to the straight path is if you don't believe that the Quran does indeed guide to the straight path. You can't have this verse. You can't have this verse and still insist on asking for guidance to the straight path.
True.
It's obvious.
That's true.
Obvious.
You can't ask for something and then get it, and then you're still asking for it, and then it just shows that you don't appreciate
You
it.
can ask for you can ask for knowledge. You can ask for increased knowledge.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You can ask for increased knowledge. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
But you're
Not
aware of the
guidance,
knowledge
because-
already and what you have.
Yeah, you're aware of the knowledge, and you want to learn more. You can ask, oh Allah, please give me some knowledge. Please increase my
Yeah,
knowledge.
knowledge is not limited to what's in the Quran, so you can always
Yeah.
ask for increase in knowledge. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But guidance,
That's
the
a
only
different
way
story.
you can ask for it is if you don't acknowledge that this is the guidance.
Correct.
You can't say, "Oh, I acknowledge that this is the guidance, and yet I'm gonna keep asking for the guidance." What guidance you looking for?
Right, it's just right here. I just gave it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, don't be surprised. It's like the Quran says. Most people just follow their forefathers, and most people just follow crowds. The Quran already told us this. This is what people like to do. They like to just follow crowds.
Yeah, he even said
they
even
caught up
calls
in
them
the
out.
numbers. It's numbers with the. It's numbers with the. They're caught up with the numbers. If it's more people doing this, then how can we be wrong?
Yeah,
Yep,
appealing to the majority.
that's exactly their argument. As a matter of fact,
Appeal to majority.
they will say that to you proudly. How
Yeah,
can the majority be wrong and then you be right? However, when the Quran talks about the majority, it's never a good thing. The majority are always wrong, in fact.
Yeah. That's the sad part is usually the majority can get wrong big time. In fact, almost I think every time they actually did get wrong.
I don't think the Quran ever uses majority in a good light.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I
never
didn't
uses
see
the word
majority
majority in a good light.
No, it is not. People follow blindly to many things. Majority do that. There are some things, of course. Yeah. Wait, you said you were gonna do this 20 minutes more. think it's more than that now.
Yeah,
About it.
I'm about to go. Just to quickly reiterate for those who are obviously vehemently against our suggestions. I just need them to understand.
More like understanding. Sorry.
Yeah, I just need them to understand that at no point have I preached anything to anyone. At no point have I given anyone a particular view and insisted this is the particular view you must hold. This is about literacy. This is literally not beyond literacy. So it is simply about what reading allows you to conclude and what it does not allow you to conclude, considering the rules of reading. That is it. So I always just simply reference the Quran itself, reference the context in question itself, and then let the audience decide for themselves what that context allows them to conclude. So this is not about personal opinions, nor is it about positions. This is about reading. That is it.
Mm. Yeah, I have to now go, siblings. It's been great to talk to you, bro. It's good to see new folks here. Happy to see you
Yeah.
guys all. Peace be upon you all. May Allah bless you and take care of your souls.
Peace, Lemming. Peace, Lemming.
Peace,
Good to see
peace.
you as usual.
Peace.
Nefis, great to have you here today. Good to meet you, my friend. Inshallah, hopefully
Thank you.
you will obviously stay around, I suppose. So yeah, I'm gonna try and make this a bit more consistent.
Inshallah.
And yeah, good to hear from you, my bro.
You too.
All right, just say your piece to the audience.
All right, everybody. Salam. Have a blessed day.
I like that. Short and to the point.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Peace out, people. Have a good one. Peace to you and yours.